Buying a vehicle should be straightforward and stress-free, and that's exactly how Two Rivers Ford has been doing business for decades. This locally owned dealership has a non-commissioned sales team whose only focus is to find you the right vehicle at the right price without the pressure. So you'll actually have a fun car buying experience. Great prices, easy financing, and a non-commissioned sales team. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Guys getting carted off the field, Spitgate, championship banners being unfurled, and the defending Super Bowl champions in the Philadelphia Eagles outlasting the Dallas Cowboys last night, 24-20. Football back, glorious and stupid as ever. To get the NFL season going, we are going to talk about the game. We are going to get you ready for the Titans at the Broncos. Brett Kern will be in studio. Coach Dave McGinnis of Titans Radio will preview the matchup here with us, and we are looking forward to spending the next 3 hours just about with you. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. If you have thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, predictions, we'll do picks. I heard you guys did picks with Brett Kern last Friday in my absence. I suppose we should just make that a thing.
They did not go well.
For anybody.
Definitely not for me. I think I literally went over.
I think I had a perfect 10 for 10.
What are you, the Lee Corso of the show?
Assumably. I would adorn someone's mascot helmet if you needed me to.
Well, after the way that you savaged people that wear mascot uniforms earlier in the week, I don't think that you should get that.
Okay.
That honor.
I was a mascot. I can make fun of them. Similar to I am a fat person. I can make fun of them. I am a Southern rube. I can make fun of Southern people. I'm not out here making fun of the rich and affluent because I'm not one of them.
Affluent.
Affluent? What is it?
If you don't know how to say it, you can't be it.
Well, obviously, so I don't make fun.
F&M Bank Chat, also at your disposal. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Yes, Spitgate. Spitgate indeed. So who spat first? Because Jalen Carter gets tossed from the game for spitting at Dak Prescott, because we all saw it. But then photographic evidence, video evidence emerges of Dak potentially spitting at Jalen Carter first.
Yeah, Dak definitely spat, but Jalen Carter retaliated, and it's always the one who retaliated. But Dak spit didn't make contact, and that's what this is about.
And
ultimately.
Jalen Carter spat on his chest.
Yes, like very different, very, very different. Is it disrespectful to make eye contact with someone and spit at the ground near their feet? Yes. But is it reprehensible? No. Spitting on another human is a reprehensible act.
Yes, I would say so.
So they are not the same thing.
Robert held it against Jeffrey Simmons for years, right? Because he spat on Marshall Yanda in that divisional round game a couple years ago.
Yeah, no one else did because it wasn't on camera. So everyone was like, he maybe did it. He might have did it. Who cares? If you do it on camera, it will be way worse.
I can't remember how we found out in the press box that happened because I think Marshall Yanda tried to swing on him or something like that.
No, he
afterwards.
went to the press conference afterwards and talked about the disrespect.
Yanda brought it up.
Yes, at his press conference, I believe.
I see. So the Philadelphia Eagles advance. They are 1-0 to start the season, but, not without flaws, at least in the early going. The lack of A.J. Brown targets was a talking point yesterday based on the way that the Eagles offense was not really getting going the way that I think we all expected it to. They were having success on the ground. And then Dallas giving them a better game than I think most of us expected. I think 8.5 in an NFL game is a huge line. Like the Titans are 8.5-point underdogs in Denver. It's still a big line, no matter how big the gulf you believe to be between those two teams.
Yeah, everyone was acting like it was a slam dunk that the Eagles were going to cover 8.5 because the Cowboys traded Micah Parsons. So credit to Dallas. I mean, this was a good game.
It was a good game.
Like this had the weirdness of a college football game. We didn't even get the first snap off, and we've got a dude getting carted off the field and a dude getting ejected for spitting on somebody. Before the first down of the ball game, there wasn't even a punt until the weather delay, and then there's an hour-long weather delay, and I think the game was the game scoreless after the weather delay, or was there at least a field goal?
I think there might have been a field goal. I can double check for you.
But definitely a scoreless fourth quarter, so things slowed down a little bit, unsurprisingly. Weird game to open the season, which I love.
Yeah, and all you ask for is good football games, right? Especially because, sometimes that's not the case, especially in those primetime windows when there's just the one game on. But unfortunately for Dallas, they did not get the funniest result because the funniest result today would have been the Cowboys winning. If Jerry Jones was able to take a victory lap, it doesn't really even matter how many more games they might win or not win after the fact. If they were able to beat the Eagles a week removed from trading Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers, it would have been one of the just objectively funniest moments that could have happened here. But that is not the case for Dallas. And now it becomes even more interesting for the rest of the way for these two teams because you know who the Eagles play next, of course. The Chiefs.
The Chiefs, yeah.
They are at Arrowhead coming up in week 2. That's an afternoon kickoff. I would have hoped that would have been a primetime game, but I suppose not. And then the Cowboys try and get right against the New York Giants in the noon window in week 2. I don't know what to make of these two teams necessarily. Like, I think we're all going to continue to believe that the Eagles are the best team in the NFC until they show us otherwise, right?
Yeah, I think we have to operate under that assumption until somebody proves otherwise.
Well, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders are close, so I think...
But they haven't proven otherwise.
For sure.
Once they do that, we can have that discussion. There's no question it's wide open for somebody to come in and be neck and neck with the Eagles at the top of the NFC. But, I mean, this is one game. Like, the Philadelphia Eagles didn't light the world on fire. Jalen Hurts was impressive. Cowboys did not stop the run. Certainly didn't stop the quarterback run.
Yeah.
They mitigated Saquon's impact. I mean, 60 yards, 3.3 yards per carry. It's about as much as you can ask for when it comes to defending Saquon Barkley. But Jalen Hurts just was getting whatever he wanted on those sort of third down scrambles, especially the one to seal the game. Chris Collinsworth pointed it out right before they snapped it. Collinsworth goes, got to spy him. They didn't. Jalen Hurts, easy pickup, game over.
Eagles didn't necessarily seem prepared for Dak Prescott to be using his legs as often as he did. He was able to find some opportunities there on the ground, and that, of course, that's never really been a big part of Dak Prescott's game. He's not an overwhelmingly mobile quarterback.
Not in the NFL.
And especially, well, yeah, at Mississippi State, obviously, a
at
different
State,
story.
he was the dual threat of all dual threats. He was running all over the place. I mean, it's a credit to him just how good of a pocket passer he's become. But that was not like his primary strength coming out of college. He was an incredible athlete at Mississippi State. It is kind of crazy how that's just not really been a big part of his game in the NFL.
And so, opportunities arose for him to try and make some plays there, and that was always going to be a question with Dak Prescott, especially coming off the injury last year. And then you have the situation where he was dealing with was it a hamstring injury that ended his season last year? I can't remember exactly what happened, but hamstring injuries have also been a part of the Dak Prescott storyline as of late. I don't know what to make of Dak, just generally. Like, he's one of these quarterbacks who, we all believe Dak Prescott to be a top half of the league quarterback, yes?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to box score scout Dak Prescott just because his numbers weren't eye-popping yesterday, because I didn't see CeeDee Lamb in the fourth quarter. Not impressive. I think that left a lot to be desired. If you're a Cowboys fan, you're probably as upset about that as you are anything else that happened yesterday.
Dak was so much better than 21 of 34 for 188 yards and no touchdowns indicates.
Yeah. So I think, at 32 years old, he is somebody who I'm curious to see how he ages, because we've talked about this before, whether it be Aaron Rodgers or specific to Tom Brady. Tom Brady kind of changed the way that quarterback aging is viewed, when in reality they start to peter out, just almost like every other position once you start to get into your early to mid-30s. And Dak Prescott is an interesting one to follow there because of the injuries and how that might impact his game. I don't know what their season is going to look like necessarily. I don't know how much Micah Parsons not being there will matter or not matter. What did you make of the idea that Micah Parsons' mother was at the game wearing a Cowboys jersey?
Yeah, that was interesting. I guess all those bookings happened before the trade, I suppose. But I mean,
Robert, you said they're from Philadelphia, right?
I believe so, yes.
But weren't they like Cowboy fans? Didn't Micah grow up a Cowboy fan? I thought that was a thing.
Maybe that's just something you say at the press conference when you sign.
But
I've always been a Cowboys fan. Yeah, who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
Also, I don't think, yes, Tom Brady is an outlier, but I don't think it's just him. That is a trend in recent years of quarterbacks playing at an elite level deep into their careers. It's not just Brady. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's Matthew Stafford.
Well, he hasn't been elite of late.
No, not of late, because he's 40, going to be 41 soon. But 3 years ago, Aaron Rodgers was elite. Matthew Stafford last season at times was elite.
Yeah.
So it is happening more than it felt like it was 10, 15 years ago.
I just don't think it should be applied to every quarterback that's starting in the NFL, as opposed to you just named three of the best quarterbacks that have ever played the sport.
Yeah, but even the FNM Bank chat brings up Kirk Cousins. Even just 2 years ago, Kirk was playing at a very high level. And he's, 37 at this point?
I mean, even last year before he got hurt.
Yeah,
I mean, he had the most passing yards in an Atlanta Falcons game in history.
Yeah, so it is something that we see more and more.
So a fun weekend of games. It's not as enticing a college football. We got a hell of a college football week 1 schedule to kind of whet our appetites, and we'll have to wait until week 3 before things really pick up.
Spoken like a true casual.
What, are you very excited to whoop ETSU's ass over the weekend? That's what you're looking forward to?
Don't let anybody, folks, tell you that week 2 is a sleeper slate in the college football.
No, I'm not saying it's a sleeper slate. I'm just saying it's something that you might fall asleep to.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
But you're wrong.
A lot of fun. It's a perpetual theme of the show. We'll talk about it later, but you're wrong. Also, all kinds of games in the NFL across the board. We'll dive into the Titans and the Broncos later on in the show. 615-737-1045. We're going to do our Titans season predictions as well. Are you prepared for that?
Sure.
Okay, because I don't see it in the grid, which means you weren't prepared. But we'll talk about the most interesting games on the NFL slate coming up next. DraftKings Sportsbook is your place to get in on all the action because week one has already started and every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. It just isn't football. It's first touchdown fireworks, anytime touchdown rushes, and live bets that ride every momentum shift. At DraftKings, every play is your next shot to win. You can get in on the action tonight, as a matter of fact, because we do have Friday night football in the NFL in Lucas's country of Brazil between the Chiefs and the Chargers. Right now, there is a 50% profit boost available for you to claim at DraftKings Sportsbook for a 3+ leg same-game parlay on tonight's NFL game. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, grab over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season starts now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THEZONE. That's code THEZONE, one word, to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet of $5 or more, plus over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789. 21 plus, Tennessee only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only. Auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Tickets/terms. Limited time offer. Welcome back to football. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. I saw many pictures of people enjoying their Hattie B's in front of the TV, taking in the football, watching the Cowboys and the Eagles. Eagles emerge victorious. What do you got, Bert?
How long is that bucket of wings deal going on? We still got another day of that?
Yeah, all weekend through Sunday.
All weekend.
Promo code football, online or in person. If you buy a bucket of wings, get a free quart of a side.
I am buying a bucket of wings for tonight's game. That is a guarantee.
Tonight's game is a fascinating game, but it's a crime. It is a crime against our beloved, beautiful football. What a glorious promo code, by the way. Just football. Football is a promo code. Because a divisional matchup between a Super Bowl contender, well, theoretically, 2 Super Bowl contenders, right? With the Chargers and the Chiefs in the AFC West, duking it out in Brazil. Now, you are the most strident detractor from neutral site games or against neutral site games in any level of football. So I cede the floor to you because this is one of your 2 home countries. Well, I suppose this is your home country, but this is one of your other countries of origin that you claim. How many countries are we going to let Lucas claim?
Hey, listen, if I have the passports, I feel like that's the difference.
Are you a citizen of all 3 of these countries?
I do. I have the passport.
No way.
Now, I'm a dual citizen.
Well, my Italian passport expired last year, so I do need to renew my Italian passport. But my American passport expires next summer. My Brazilian passport still has several years left on it, so I actually need to get on that. But
I need to get ChatGPT to mix all of your flags together to make one flag.
Oh, can we do that?
That's actually fun.
What would a Brazilian, Italian, United States flag look like? Like, I'm thinking like the stars and bars, maybe like the Brazilian flag in the square. But then what do you get from Italy? Maybe the stars and bars are green, white, and red.
We should.
I like that.
We should do that for all 3 of us. Oh, actually, you're about as basic as they come, right?
Yeah, I guess if you're going to do Ireland.
Cornbread white boy.
yeah, just a good old flag. Throw it up there.
Well, the good old flag.
Oh, stop it. I should have.
Easy Robert Lee Walsh.
I knew as soon as I said that, you were going to be like, oh, throw out glory.
Old stars and bars.
Yeah, no, give me the United States flag. I was a weeblo. I got a flag that flew over the Capitol, dadgummit.
Moving on. It's not, neutral site games I don't particularly enjoy, but it's the international game that I have a deep-seated disdain for because, as I've said many, many times, it benefits literally nobody except for the NFL. Literally nobody. Not the fans, not the players and teams that have to travel internationally, certainly not the people in the country they're traveling to who don't give a damn about American football, but only the National Football League. So, I digress. It's a good game. Chiefs Chargers divisional game, which is another part of it. Like, we really got to play this critical. I mean, the AFC West could be fun this year. We're all hoping that the AFC West will finally be fun this year.
You picked the Broncos.
I picked the Broncos to win it. The Chargers are finally, it's year 2 of the Jim Harbaugh era, and the LA Chargers are a team that is made much more in the image of Jim Harbaugh, right? With Amari Hampton, they drafted out of North Carolina. They bring in Najee Harris, the offensive line, although the Rashawn Slater injury, huge blow to the Chargers. But it's a huge game. I don't love that this divisional matchup to open the season is being kicked off in São Paulo, Brazil. As happy as I am that NFL players will get to experience Brazil, though they don't really get to experience Brazil because, and that's the other thing that's my personal gripe with it is the amount of players. This has happened. I think it happened with, was it
Eagles?
Josh Jacobs. Eagles-Packers played in Brazil last year, and Josh Jacobs came out and said, they're telling us like not to leave our hotels. And it like paints this picture that if you walk on the street in São Paulo, which is one of like the 5 biggest cities on the planet, that you're going to get mugged within 10 seconds, where it's just mitigating risk, right? And it's a liability thing. And the NFL would love for their players not to be going out and getting into situations, but it just paints this picture, and I just hate it all. But it'll be a good game.
But I don't know that it will, Lucas, because it's not like what's the name of the arena or the stadium that they play?
Corinthians Arena.
Okay, so Corinthians Arena last year, where the Packers and the Eagles opened, the field conditions were unsatisfactory.
Not good.
Jordan Love sprained his ankle, missed time. Malik Willis became a starting quarterback almost immediately after arriving in Green Bay because these international venues, I mean, at least now London has an NFL-specific stadium in the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium where they have designed that to host NFL competition, okay? So that at least is a step in the right direction. But well,
in London, don't they have like the whole retractable, like they can switch it out?
But that's recent.
Right.
Wembley was not that. You know, like this was, I remember being down on the field in, what was that, 18, before they had the new Hotspur Stadium open, which now has that at their disposal. But Brazil, this is a whole new experience. So, yes, in theory, it should be a good game. Yes, it has massive implications, massive playoff implications right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. And if Mahomes has a Jordan Love situation,
oh, man.
can you imagine?
Yeah, I'm no groundskeeper, but I do know that.
That's one of those moments where he would look at me and be like, we know, but you don't have to tell us. By the way, speaking of 1% behavior, guess who got a landscaper to cut their grass the other day?
No, now listen. I don't even want to talk about
Come on down to the dark side.
There were some issues there.
No. Now, see, the issue was, one, it was $45. I hadn't mowed because I had been gone for like a week and a half. I knew that I was going to be busy this whole week, so I said, hell with it, and called a dude who had left a card in my door for like 3 weeks. I was like, hey, can you mow this? I'm not going to have time. $45, killer. In my front yard, I have a fig bush that I planted by myself, started from a sprout. It wasn't like I went to Home Depot and bought an already started plant. I come home yesterday, and they massacred my boy.
They raised over that thing.
Ran right. He's
you
probably
were going to say something totally different than when you finally. Thank God that Z came out.
What is wrong with you?
He was so.
I don't know where you were going.
I bet he was so scared. I hate it.
Maybe you didn't feel it. Maybe it was a painless death.
I hope it was painless. When I called her, she was like, "Oh, I'll buy you a new one." I don't want a new one.
I want him.
I want him. He has one little sprig left, and I cut the massacred branches down to the roots. So I'm hoping that his little sprig will stay. But yes, I will never let someone else mow my yard again.
I don't think that's true. I think you'll get lazy again and call a landscaper.
I don't think.
I mean,
so.
$45. That is.
It's a great deal.
Like that,
great deal.
That's what you pay like the 8th grader next door to mow your lawn.
You don't have much more lawn than I do. I think mine's 60 after tip. I tip.
Oh, you're getting raked over the coals there.
Yeah, but they'll clean up flower beds. They'll do a lot of other stuff too.
Your lawn is like 10 square feet though, so
which is the best.
It would take like 5 minutes.
It's the best version of that.
You trying to equate me getting a landscaper to coming to the dark side is kind of like the Panthers and Jaguars this weekend. Did you guys know that there is no such thing as a black panther? A black panther is actually a black jaguar. There is no animal, no genus. There is no black panther. They are black jaguars. So this weekend, the Jaguars and Panthers will be doing their best Spider-Man meme impersonation. I don't think this is an incredibly fun game until you realize the young skill players on both sides of the field. You get to see Travis Hunter. You get to see Brian Thomas Jr. You get to see a or I guess not Titans fans, hopefully rejuvenated Trevor Lawrence, where they give you a better brand of offensive football. And then the Panthers, young skill position players, Xavier Legette. You've got Teteroa McMillan, Bryce Young heading into is this his fourth year? Third year. This is supposed to be the jump year. I always thought that was funny, though. It's like, they're the Panthers, and it's a black panther, but that is not a real animal.
We are getting very technical, talking about groundskeeping and different animal species.
Well, I mean, there are divisional games all over the place this weekend.
There are 7 divisional games.
And I don't know, I suppose I could go back and look at previous week ones to see how, is that many more than is typically the case? Because I do think that the NFL tries to sprinkle divisional games across the board in week 1 to give it a little extra juice. But can I tell you the game that I'm most morbidly curious about? Because, Denver, Tennessee is actually a great, an interesting game. I really think, not just because nobody's won or nobody's lost yet, but I have no idea what to make of the Titans offense. And I want to see exactly how this plays out against a defense that we fully expect to be, if not the best in football by the end of the year, certainly one of the best. I'm fascinated by that matchup. But the morbid curiosity game for me, can you guess? Of all the games on the board,
Jets-Steelers.
The morbid curiosity game. Jets-Steelers, I feel like might be too obvious. That's my most interesting one. I'm just going to lean into
really?
Because
I feel like you have more Aaron Rodgers fatigue than any of us.
But I'm still fascinated by it.
It's like an ex's double date. Like you are dating your friend's ex, and he is now dating your ex. Where
Sounds
it's
like
Aaron
such a
Rodgers,
cluster.
Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers, Justin Fields on the Jets.
Yeah,
I am also very interested in that game, and it will probably be a mud fight.
It's hard not to be. Are you going to go Niners Seahawks?
No, it's Dolphins at Colts.
I
don't think either of those teams are any good. Or I don't know. I think the Colts might be good if they had a quarterback. But, like, I don't know what to do with Daniel Jones. Like, is there a world in which Daniel Jones is the next rehabilitated quarterback?
Of course there is.
But I don't know. I just associate him with so much bad football across his entire career that is such a hard mental place for me to get to think that he could be next.
That's the thing about the rehabilitated quarterbacks.
No, I know.
Because we only associated Sam Darnold with bad football everywhere he went. Even though he wasn't as bad as...
He wasn't as bad
as it was painted to be during his time in Carolina. He was actually pretty decent during a short stint in Carolina. But yeah, of course, there's a world in which Daniel Jones... Again, Shane Steichen's a good offensive play caller. Like, Shane Steichen can coach football. And the idea was that he could lean into some of the things that he did with Jalen Hurts in Philly with Anthony Richardson in Indy. Anthony Richardson might just not be a good quarterback because we've never seen him be a good quarterback, ever. So Daniel Jones, who we've seen Brian Daboll just extract something out of Daniel Jones before, using his legs. I'm kind of curious as to how Shane Steichen is going to lean in to Daniel Jones and his dual threat ability. They are 1.5-point favorites at home against the Dolphins.
I am also morbidly curious about the Cardinals at the Saints. Not just because the Titans will play the Cardinals in, less than a month, right? Is Arizona at Arizona?
A battle of former Oklahoma quarterbacks.
I have no idea what to do with the Saints this year because I think people are assuming that they just, they're going to win like 2 or 3 games. They're a lock for the number 1 overall pick, but I just don't think you can do that way.
I think this is tied for the 3rd largest spread of the weekend at 6.5.
Yeah.
It's tough, though. Just like yesterday, where I was one of the people Lucas was talking about that was confident in the Eagles covering 8.5, and they kind of fell flat on their face. This is another game I think you could succumb to, where it's like both teams are early, both teams are getting rolling, but maybe the things on offense aren't clicking for the Cardinals, and it ends up being a closer game than it should be. I don't disagree with you, though, out of morbid curiosity.
Yeah, there are better, more should be better teams playing in these games, but immediately. Because I know if I'm gonna watch the Colts or the Dolphins or who's it? I mean, I think that the Saints probably belong in this category. There's only going to be so many weeks that you're going to watch them, right? Because at a certain point, they're going to start to stink, and then you're going to direct your attention to better teams. So, early on, I'm more interested in the science experiment teams. I think Tennessee fits this category, too. But obviously, I'm going to be at every game. So
I'm fascinated by, I'm not really going to get to watch this game live, obviously, because it kicks off 20 minutes after Titans-Broncos, but Rams-Texans at SoFi Stadium. Rams 3.5-point favorites. And obviously, the Titans will play both of those teams within the span of the opening month of the season. Rams coming up next with the home opener.
Robert?
For me, my final morbid curiosity game.
Well, Lucas just picked a good game. Lucas didn't pick a morbid curiosity game.
Oh, I know. And that's also one of the non-divisional games that's actually worth a crap this week. But the Raiders and Patriots, where you get Tom Brady being on the sideline, assumably, against his former team. Mike Vrabel's first game as a New England Patriot head coach.
Oh, my God.
It should not be a good game. On paper, this is probably just like a stinker that you can throw on in the background, but I am curious to see Geno indoors, Geno with this offense, how Mike Vrabel changes what the Patriots do. There are so many games like this where it's like, okay, it's like Halloween. Everyone's dressing up and you don't know who anyone is. I can't wait for people to show up and be like, oh, that's the dude from that movie. Or who the hell are you supposed to be?
Right, because we get to October and then it's the Scooby-Doo meme where it's Freddie pulling the mask off of one of the teams. We thought it might be, this team, but it's actually that team.
Yeah, and I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you dadgum kids.
It's not bad.
Meddling kids.
Dadgum is more my speed.
Yeah.
We have, allegedly, a groundskeeper calling us from Brazil.
Actually from Brazil?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, just an ordinary groundskeeper. You kept me on the phone for like 6 minutes there. It's really looking green. We've had some good weather. We got it mowed nice and tight. Les was down here sampling some of the stuff just here the other day. Everything should be good for Trav and for Patty to put on a good show. No problems. Any questions for me there, boys?
Yeah, how's the drainage down there?
Drainage is wonderful. Drainage is good. We've like I said, we've had some rain, but we've kept it mowed nice and tight. We've got everything going now.
Yeah, and
go for anywhere.
And it's tough. It's tough down there. What's the type of grass you guys are using? I know Bermuda with the humidity, it might be a little tough to keep that going down there.
We've got some Bermuda intermixed with some zoysia. We got some good zoysia growing down here. Like I said, Les came down and sampled some the other day. Says delicious, just wonderful.
You said a little bit of rain involved. When's the heavy stuff supposed to come down?
It's not supposed to come down for quite some time.
Thanks for the call.
Look at him losing it.
We broke him. That's great.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks,
good stuff, man.
We appreciate
That was
the
good
call.
Oh, Buck has no clue about that reference whatsoever.
No. Oh, wait, no. Is that Caddyshack?
Yes.
Hey, look at me.
That was well done. That was a very good.
Look at
Very
me.
good, Bill
You guys
Murray
remember
from
when we used to
Caddyshack.
have a guy call in and do like
The wrestling impressions?
promos? God, I miss that guy.
He was good.
He
where is
ran
that?
out of steam, though.
I mean,
he did too many too
he
soon.
did like 50 wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot. But that guy's good too.
TK says, this has to be fake. Yes. What was your first
thank
giveaway?
you.
Someone said, "Is this supposed to be a Brazilian accent?"
If you guys,
Slides in the chat thinking it was Trump. Like the guy was trying to do a Trump.
I could hear it. I
green is
could
grass.
hear it.
The greenest grass.
We're gonna drain the swamp.
Very tight.
And the field.
Phrasing. Easy, Donnie.
I would much rather get fake calls than real calls.
Oh, my God. The fake ones are so much better than the real ones.
Unless you're trying to win a prize, and then we'll call you out for
I will
that.
say, the calls when you were gone were fantastic. Like the calls we got Friday.
Oh, incredible.
Like wall
They were
to wall.
good?
Yes, they were all good. So I think it's you.
I mean, that might be so.
Like Call of Fame callers.
Yeah, like it was probably
what was the best call that you got
it was
last
probably
Friday?
the best Friday fire.
Oh my! This
that we've
dude's
ever had.
wife got over cancer. One of these kids, one of these guys' kids.
Aren't they just
learned-
lying to you again?
We had
probably?
we had
Oh,
a
no,
tra-
this guy was. There's no
No.
way he was lying. He sounded like Mother Teresa's husband.
a man's daughter who learned her ABCs. We had a trash talker calling in with a roll tide. It was good stuff. It was good stuff.
All right, very good. Friday Fire, do we have a giveaway?
we do have a giveaway.
What?
Doobie Brothers tickets.
Love that. Doobie Brothers tickets, that's appropriate before the Titans head out to Denver. One of my favorite concerts of all time, Doobie Brothers. Chicago opening for the Doobie Brothers at Red Rocks.
I
Sick.
love Chicago.
That's great. It sounds like a great show. But how do you know Chicago and the Doobie Brothers and not know who Freddie Mercury is? Like, you realize that doesn't make any sense, right? Like, your whole thing about not knowing who Freddie Mercury is that he passed away, like, before you were born, which, actually, I don't even think he did. He passed away in the 90s. But the Doobie Brothers, like, that logic, it just doesn't follow. Like,
Yeah,
you
because
get that.
we were on a family trip and they said we have tickets to the Doobie Brothers in Chicago at Red Rocks, and that was my first exposure.
And you're like, Chicago's not in Red Rocks. What are we doing, Mom? Don't lie to me.
Name
As
a
you were-
Doobie Brothers song.
Oh, I couldn't.
Okay.
Doobie or not Doobie.
I just know vibes were high, literally and metaphorically.
Yep. You didn't have to say anything else.
Just along for the ride. So, any other games? I mean, it's the Bills and the Ravens, right? Like, that's the game that we are most excited about, not just because Robert is. How many days in a row have you worn a Raven shirt? I think that's the same Raven shirt you've been wearing for a week.
Listen, I'm still training Cheyenne on how to do all the housework so I don't have to do anything. So sometimes my laundry runs a little short.
Is your version of training just you laying about and not doing anything and hope that she finally gets sick of it and does it?
Brings me a bowl of grapes while I put my feet up. You know, it's like, hey, make sure you fold those with the third crease, baby. Don't forget. And she's still learning. So sometimes I have to dig into the gym shirts. That's just where I've been the last 2 days. You got to get on that, baby.
Ugh.
You're a married woman now.
No.
Spoken for.
Damn.
SEC stat of the day next.
The sound of Robert saying Kalen DeBoer in there is just going to continue to be just closer and closer to how Alabama fans are feeling throughout the course of the years. They talk about his buyout, and they're picking apart everything he says.
Zach Lyons came in here asking Lucas yesterday as we were changing shifts if he knew what the buyout rate decrease was year over year or something about DeBoer.
Yeah, something like that. But times are tough in Tuscaloosa. This isn't even the stat of the day that I had. But do you know how many times Nick Saban lost to an unranked opponent as Alabama's head coach?
Once.
4.
Really?
Yeah. Kalen DeBoer has already lost 4 times to an unranked opponent. Do you know how many times, or Kalen DeBoer is also 5-5 in his last 10 games. I mean, we could keep going. There's all these numbers. Anyway, Bama plays Louisiana Monroe, who, very ironically, is one of the 4 unranked opponents that beat a Nick Saban team back in, his first year, 2007, when things were still, he was trying to get rid of the stink of the Mike Shula era at that point in a 6-6 year one for Saban. I digress. You say it's a sleepy weekend for college football. What a terribly wrong thing to say. Don't let folks tell you that week 2 is a bad slate in college football. Now, the game of the week seems to be Oklahoma-Michigan. That game is happening in Norman. And the stat of the day is Oklahoma has had, after last week, 7 week 1 starters at quarterback in the last 9 seasons. 4 of them are starting week 1 in the NFL this weekend. Can either of you name the 4?
Rattler.
Mm-hmm.
I was not listening.
Repeat it for him.
7. Oklahoma has had 7 week 1 starters at quarterback in the last 9 seasons. 4 of them are starting week 1 in the NFL this weekend.
Baker,
Caleb Williams.
Not Caleb Williams. That's the tricky one.
Because he never started.
He never started a week 1. He came in for Rattler that season, and then after his freshman year, went with Lincoln to USC.
We said Kyler.
No, we didn't say Kyler.
Yep. Okay, Kyler.
Missing just one.
Fields? No.
It's one that you don't really associate with Oklahoma.
I'm literally going through every division in my
Jalen
head.
Hurts.
Stop it.
That's a sneaky one.
It is a
I'm
sneaky
so
one.
mad at you.
Is that like one of the most forgotten best seasons that a college quarterback has had?
They made the 14 college football playoff.
I know.
Got routed by LSU, but Jalen Hurts had a great year there. Yeah. Jalen Hurts is more an Alabama quarterback than an Oklahoma quarterback, by the way, for anybody that wants to have that debate.
If it was a VF hell no situation, would you say, but for Alabama, would you say Jalen Hurts?
Hurts is a Bama.
You think so?
Yes.
Sure.
100%.
The way he handled that
he handled the whole
marvelous.
situation. The guy won an SEC championship as Alabama's starting quarterback. Won multiple. So yes, 100%. A lot of his development happened at Alabama before Lincoln Riley was able to benefit from it. I digress. John Mateer is the latest in that line of Oklahoma quarterbacks. He is hoping to join the group of 5 OU quarterbacks that are starting this week in the NFL, but he's got to have a good season to do it. And John Mateer led all SEC quarterbacks in week 1, granted, against Illinois State, but had a nice debut. 30 of 37, 392 yards, 3 touchdowns, did have 1 interception, also had 1 rushing touchdown. John Mateer, arguably the most highly anticipated transfer quarterback in all of college football this year. The QB matchup, fascinating tomorrow as John Mateer faces off against the 5-star freshman Bryce Underwood. 21 of 31, 251, 1 touchdown against New Mexico last week. Here's his first time going into a good environment against a Power 4 team, and I can't wait to see if Michigan lets him cut it loose a little bit. Doesn't choose to go conservative in this game with a true freshman walking into Oklahoma. This is a big game for Brent Venables. It's a big game for Sharon Moore, who played at Oklahoma. But there's more pressure here on Brent Venables, I think. Brent Venables kind of has a sneaky amount of pressure on him this year because there are high hopes at Oklahoma after a dreadfully disappointing season last year with how poorly the Jackson Arnold experiment went. Now he's at Auburn. So there's pressure here on Brent Venables to win this game in which Oklahoma is favored by 5.5 points, a top 20 matchup in Norman. Now, that is really the only ranked versus ranked matchup of the weekend. But you look across the slate, Ole Miss going to Kentucky as 8.5-point favorites with a chance to avenge last year's loss, a dreadful loss that pretty much knocked them out of the college football playoff.
Oh, sure.
Kansas is going to Missouri for the border war, reviving an old Big 12 rivalry. Don Davenport will be on the sidelines for that one, so check that game out. South Florida going to Florida. This is kind of a sneaky, keep it in the corner of your eye game. Florida 17.5-point favorites. But South Florida, we've talked about Alex Golesh, the former Tennessee offensive coordinator. It feels like they're finally hitting their stride with that offense.
Just dummied Boise State.
Yep.
Knocked them all the way out of the top 25.
Basically ended Boise State's playoff hopes in week 1. South Florida wants to be one of those sneaky under-the-radar teams to make the college football playoff as that G5 team to get in. But they've got a tough schedule ahead of them, including going to Gainesville. Now, could you survive one Power 4 loss and still get into the playoff? Yeah, Boise did it last year when they lost to Oregon. But South Florida has to go to Florida and has to go to Miami in the next 2 weeks. So they have to knock off one of those two in order to make the college football playoff. And Florida could join a list of Power 4 opponents that South Florida has given some problems for the last couple of years. They've done it to Alabama each of the last 2 years. So just a sneaky game to watch if USF can kind of knock Florida off kilter. It's a good Florida defense. A lot of high hopes for DJ Lagway, the young quarterback. Something to watch. And then there's 2 other intriguing ones. Arizona State going to Mississippi State. ASU, number 12 team in the country. Sam Leavitt was excellent in week 1. Another team that is hoping to win the Big 12 and get back into the college football playoff against a Mississippi State team that blew out Southern Miss, which is not something they would have done last year.
Right.
We'll see what happens there. That game is in Starkville. Did you guys see the video of the one trainer, the Arizona State trainer, walking around with the cowbells?
No.
At ASU practice? It's like some reporter or something, the Arizona State preparing their team for the cowbells, and it's one trainer. She has 2 cowbells in her hands, and she's clanging them while they're practicing. Someone said, all right, as long as no more than 2 Mississippi State fans show up, they should be in good shape. And then Vandy at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech, who is reeling a bit after their loss to South Carolina. I feel like VTech thought they had a chance to win that game. South Carolina.
Wait, if you watched that game all the way through, like that was a much closer game than I think South Carolina was hoping for.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they shot themselves in the foot repeatedly on offense and really got bailed out by an 80-yard punt return that made that game look a little more lopsided than it really was. This game is at Virginia Tech. It is under the lights at Lane Stadium. Enter Sandman will be playing. And Vanderbilt is going in there with a pivotal game to their bowl game hopes. Because you look at last year and you think, okay, how can Vanderbilt repeat what they did last year, getting to a bowl game? All right, they got to a bowl game, managing somehow to get there while losing to Georgia State in the same season. They kind of made up for the Georgia State loss with the Alabama win. You figure this year, with pretty much the same schedule, just flip-flopped home and away, you can kind of reverse those. It's going to be tough for Vandy to beat Bama, although, after we saw Alabama last week, who knows? They should be able to get Georgia State this year. Vanderbilt beat Virginia Tech last year. Can they take that game back? Can they do it again on the road? First big test for Diego Pavia and the Commodores in 2025. Should be interesting.
All right.
It's a great slate. Iowa State as well.
It's a better
all over
slate than I gave you credit for. What'd you say, Robert?
I would take the eye on 3 first.
Okay. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. How about Matthew in Franklin?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Breaking sports news. Walt Disney has come to reach an agreement with the University of Alabama to do the remake of The Wizard of Oz because they have no heart, they have no brains, and they have no courage. Go Irish.
Go Irish.
Go Irish.
Alabama fan coming in here, or a Notre Dame fan, excuse me.
I love that every fan base outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama is united in just digging more dirt, throwing more dirt on the grave of Alabama football. And it's one loss, but you read some of the, David Ubben came on the show earlier the week. You can check out the podcast. Did we post it on YouTube?
I don't believe we did.
That's fine. It's available via the podcast. You can go back and listen to the full interview. And he also cited an AL.com piece that was written about where the big money boosters are on all of this of late. And I don't know if you had a chance to go back and read it or if you caught it by chance, but I went back and read a couple of different things just out of morbid curiosity because, it's fascinating, right? Mm-hmm. They have run this sport, or they have been the representation of college football for, our entire adult lifetimes at this point. And some of the quotes coming out of there about, yes, we understand that we're like anonymous quotes from boosters, paraphrasing here, but Yes, we understand that we have been spoiled. But at a certain point, when you are investing that much money into a program, into a coach, into a roster, into facilities, and all these other things, it's not like Bama's not like Texas A&M, right? They're not that kind of rich donor base or booster base the way that some of this Texas oil money is. Basically saying, yeah, but now it's about performance. Now it's about how uninspired they look on the sideline. Now it's not just we're spoiled. No, we're paying for a certain level of product, and you're not producing here.
It's true, and they displayed some problems last week that don't feel very fixable in the short term. Maybe they come out with their hair on fire and they just thump Louisiana Monroe and then thump Wisconsin at home and then give Georgia a game on the road in a couple weeks in Athens. But there is legitimate concern. They are rightfully concerned after that week 1 performance. And the fact that Bama fans are talking about Kalen DeBoer's buyout, the thing is, this is always the case. When a buyout is that big of a number, it's not just about the buyout. It's about buying out the assistants as well. It's about the fact that the transfer portal opens up regardless of if you're in one of the 2 windows that are set in the calendar if there's a coaching change. This is still one of the most talented rosters in the country. In the country. The 247 Sports Talent Composite does this every year. Bama, top 3. There's no excuse for how they looked last week, but they're kind of stuck right now. And there should not be any discussions about Kalen DeBoer's buyout at the moment, though I understand why there are. Welcome, Alabama. Welcome to normalcy. Welcome to what just about every college football fan base, except for you, has had to feel in the last 2 decades. Zach was in here when we were switching shows. He's like, no, come on, no, I know what that's like. I know, yeah, but you haven't felt it in 2 decades. So I don't want to hear from you, Zach, about remembering what it's like to be among the downtrodden. Because, yeah, you remember, but you also don't, because the iPhone wasn't invented the last time Alabama was normal.
Not a single one of us had even made it to high school yet.
So welcome back.
Whew. That's
water's warm.
Well, yeah, because they're peeing themselves. 615-737-1045. A Titans player of note returned to practice yesterday that is going to be very critical to any level of success they might find in Denver. We'll talk about it coming up next. Not sure who BAB is, but I know who the Tennessee Men's Clinic is, and they've been helping guys for over a decade who are struggling with performance issues. Erectile dysfunction can wreck your confidence, and it can impact your relationship, your mental health, and even your sense of identity. But there's good news. There's real help. Since 2014, the Tennessee Men's Clinic has helped thousands of guys get back to feeling like themselves. Not cookie-cutter treatments. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology-based and staffed with multiple licensed providers who specialize in men's sexual health issues. They use proven treatments tailored to your specific situation. No one size fits all. Too many guys rely on pills that don't work or come with nasty side effects. There are better treatments. Sometimes it's a combination of those treatments that finally unlock the results that you've been missing. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes a full medical consultation, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose right there in the office. So call now at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or book easily online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
11:01, good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The NFL regular season kicked off with the Eagles beating the Cowboys at home 24-20. The game hit a 1-hour weather delay near the end of the third quarter, but Philadelphia held off the Cowboys in a scoreless fourth to start the season 1-0. Philly had to do it without star defensive lineman Jalen Carter, ejected for spitting on Dak Prescott before the first snap of the game. The Titans opened the season at the Denver Broncos on Sunday. Left tackle Dan Moore Jr. returned to practice as a full participant on Thursday. L'Jarius Sneed and Kevin Winston Jr. were limited. Brian Callahan will update injuries today after practice. The Lee Company countdown to kickoff begins at noon on Sunday. Titans countdown is on the air at 2, and kickoff with Taylor Zarzour and Coach Dave McGinnis is at 3:05 from Mile High Stadium. Week 1 continues tonight in Brazil. The Chiefs and Chargers facing off in São Paulo. Kickoff at 7 p.m. You can hear the Westwood One call right here on The Zone. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
With the Titans heading to Denver tomorrow afternoon, there was a lot of hand-wringing when the first injury report of the week came out. Now, that's since been dissuaded because the thing that popped up, among others, on the initial injury report of the 2025 Tennessee Titans season was that Dan Moore did not practice, your new left tackle, did not practice at all, dealing with an ankle issue in the first day of work. I suppose Monday was technically the first day of work, but Wednesday is typically within the NFL week. Starts it in practice on Wednesday, but yesterday, full participant, looked fine, hitting the sleds, looked fine, doing everything that we got to see, which was just basically individual and stretch at this point in time. Said in the locker room afterwards, because we were able to talk to him for the first time this week, that just precautionary measures. They're trying to take care of him at this point in time. He did get rolled up in Atlanta, did reference that, just a little bit of soreness that he's managing, but that all indications are full go for Denver for the starting left tackle for the Tennessee Titans, which is, of course, critical to any level of success. This is as important a game for them as it is for Cam Ward.
Oh, 100%. Expectation level is high for the offensive line after the training camp and preseason they had. Dan Moore Jr. gets to face Nick Bonito, who just got a big old payday, who's coming off a 13.5 sack season and kind of spearheads this Broncos pass rush. So that's about as good of news as Titans fans could have gotten with the injury report ahead of week 1. And now we wait to see L'Jarius Sneed and Kevin Winston Jr., what that looks like this weekend and what kind of snap count those guys will be on.
Yeah, so we were in the locker room yesterday, obviously, and we'll be again today. Well, actually, I don't know if I'll make it entirely, but so 2 days of locker room because the Titans, I think they moved practice a little later this morning. They adjusted the practice times a little bit, so maybe I'll catch the locker room, maybe I won't. But yesterday, L'Jarius Sneed was approached about speaking and was prepared to speak and was intercepted, no pun intended, by PR staffers who said that he would speak today. Now, inside baseball, and this would just be speculation on my part, but I think the reason that they would prefer him to speak today is because TVs typically aren't there on Fridays, and there's less of us typically there on Fridays because they call them Fast Fridays for a reason. People get in and out on their way. They get into rehab. They're getting treatment. They're getting ready to go for the road trip that is ahead. Now, again, that's speculation on my part. If it's unfair, I'm sure I'll get a text about it. But L'Jarius Sneed will speak today for himself. Jarvis Brownlee did talk to us yesterday. And, you know, I try to not read too much into what players are saying about other players' availability, right? It's like Deontay Johnson saying that Kenny Pickett was going to be the Browns starting quarterback?
Yeah, but let's not use Deontay Johnson.
No, I know, but like
examples.
But like players don't actually know, right, what the coaching staff is going to do with a player that may or may not play. They have an idea, but they don't definitively know. So Jarvis Brownlee, though, was giving indications as if L'Jarius Sneed is going to play. And,
he's been practicing, even if he's limited.
Which he'll be perpetually limited, right? Like his practice situation is a limited practice situation year-round.
I mean, you don't take a player off the PUP list to be available and to be on the initial 53-man roster if you don't have some sort of expectation of him playing football for you early in the season. So,
Lucas, yes, but with him specifically, I think the vast majority of people, that is a very logical and reasonable position by you. But I think with him specifically, it's fine to be skeptical until you see him out on the field in a Titans uniform for a full game or whatever a full game for him right now constitutes. Like, I don't blame people for being a bit skeptical. Like, okay, I'll just, we'll wait till we get there before you actually believe that that's going to be a thing. But they need him. They need all hands on deck. This is as tough a stretch of football as really any that they'll face this season with a fourth place schedule. Their first 6 weeks are pretty tough. And so to set the tone in Denver correctly, to come out and play the style of football that they believe they're capable of playing, every team that's not favored will give you the line about we embrace the underdog mentality, all these different things. Tony Pollard said the same thing yesterday. There's been a lot of that messaging, and they've been asked specifically, like, do you guys have a chip on your shoulder type of stuff. I remember being so bothered by Kevin Byard a couple of years ago saying that they would prefer to be the ones who were chasing as opposed to being the ones who were being chased by other teams in the AFC, because I hated that. I'd like to just act like you belong at the front of the pack as opposed to just perpetually relishing the underdog role. But I do understand why athletes
I think that's just a
but it bothered me. Like have higher standards is what I felt listening to that. And it's not like I wasn't mad at KB necessarily, but it's just like I don't like that quote if I'm a fan of that team.
I think you read too much into that. To me, that's like, as much as there's coach speak, there's also athlete speak.
Sure.
And that is very much athlete speak. Like that, to me, that was a nothing burger.
But honestly, Lucas, I said that it's as important for the offensive line as it is for Cam Ward in week 1. I think it's the most important thing that we are going to learn about the Titans is can they handle something like Denver in week 1 on the offensive line. And Mike Borgonzi, the Titans general manager, spoke last week, right after roster cutdowns. Specifically, I asked him the question about, is this offensive line that you put together meeting your expectations?
Yeah. No, we've been really happy, with Dan and Kevin and those guys. They've really had a nice camp. Kevin hasn't done the preseason games, but he's got enough experience there where he's going to be ready to roll here during the season. But having Dan at left tackle, I think he's done a really good job there, and then moving JC to the right, and then getting Cush back here at practice. We'll see, how it looks here next week too. So they're starting to gel though, So I feel good about that unit right now.
So a reasonable level of confidence that they are meeting expectation. Dan Moore comes in here on that 4-year contract, that big money deal. Kevin Zeitler's a 1-year, $9 million deal. I would give you their Pro Football Focus metrics from last year, but Pro Football Focus is apparently having some technical difficulties. So there was a lot of, remember when Dan Moore signed, and understandably so, when you're not super familiar with a player, and you just look at the numbers, and the numbers can be misleading in certain situations. Dan Moore gave up as many sacks as any left tackle in football last year. But then you take into account the quarterbacks that he's playing in front of, which are Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and how often those two players hold the ball, and how often Justin Fields in particular creates his own pressure because of the way that he plays. And you realize, okay, Dan Moore is not as bad as the numbers indicate that he might be. And I think that was kind of a sticking point for some Titans fans. I just need Cam Ward to get rid of the ball. Get rid of the ball, be quick, be efficient, get yourself in rhythm like we talked with Jack Jones about the Tennessee quarterback situation yesterday. Get comfortable, and everything else should come much more easily as a result. But obviously Denver is going to be prepared to try and stymie that as much as humanly possible.
I can't wait to see how much Cam Ward displays the natural, his instinctive ability to avoid sacks against a team that led the league in sacks and led the league in QB hits last season. The Broncos had 60 sacks, I believe, in 2024. Vance Joseph is going to come after Cam Ward. I think they blitzed 37% of the time. It's more than 2/3 of the NFL in 2024. And the Cam Ward we see, hopefully in week 1 will not be the Cam Ward that we see in week 9, week 10, week 11 if this goes according to plan. But what we can see is just that layer of instinct that he has to avoid pressure. How much does his inexperience in the NFL of dealing with NFL pass rushers and disguises and not necessarily knowing what's coming and when, how much does that mesh with just a natural ability to avoid that contact and get rid of the football and get it out of bounds and get it to your check down? This couldn't be a more interesting case study for his NFL debut, going up against this pass rush in that regard.
I was laughing because, Greg was kidding a little bit when we taped the podcast yesterday, but he goes, I'm genuinely not dreading having to watch the Titans this year because I think there's some interesting matchup type of stuff that they can do. And Cam is obviously going to be something to study week in and week out, the way that it just became, we all dreaded what their experience was going to be week in and week out last year because we knew what they had and we knew that there wasn't any fixing it, really.
They had 63 sacks, not 60 last year. That was better than the next best team, the Ravens, who had 54. So 9 sacks more than the second leader in the NFL in team sacks.
I wonder, to your point about him bringing some of his collegiate improvisational skills to the table, because he was given a mandate, essentially, from the coaching staff. Hey, don't do too much. Don't put yourself in a position to get hit in the preseason, right? Like, just if it's not there, get rid of it. Live to see another down. Don't take unnecessary hits right now. And that is, of course, the way that you want them to operate at that particular point in time. He is going to try some of that stuff. And will he continue to be willing to do it if he gets smacked?
Yeah.
In one of these situations?
He naturally looks very comfortable throwing on the run. Like when he's flushed and the field's cut in half, it's almost like his sweet spot, it feels like. He did so much of that at Miami. Some of his most impressive plays, like when I think about Cam Ward's season at Miami, one of the first plays that comes to mind is that week 1 touchdown pass back in the end zone at Florida, where he's scrambling around, he's rolling left, and he just throws a dart to the back left corner of the end zone. So can the Broncos knock him off of that comfort level and start, giving him those second thoughts? That's going to be really interesting.
So you mentioned that you said the Broncos had 63 sacks last year?
Yes.
Do you know how many times, do you want to take a guess at how many times in each of the last 3 seasons Tennessee Titans quarterbacks were sacked?
In each of the last 3?
Like if you just had to guess in each of the last 3 seasons, because those have been the word. That's Dennis Daly, that's Andre Dillard.
What were they sacked, like 70-something times last year?
I have them at 52 last year.
Okay.
52.
Felt like 70.
52, 64, and 49 in total of all the quarterbacks that played. And again, some of that is Will Levis holding the ball. Some of that is Malik Willis holding the ball.
And a dreadful offensive line.
Dreadful offensive line. It's not like sacks are almost as much a quarterback stat.
And situational stuff, like third and longs, constantly. It's a huge game for Tony Pollard this week.
Yeah, and I just hate that he's having to shoulder so much of it right out of the gate again for the first month of the season, the way that he did last year.
It's week 1, so Pollard's going to have to shoulder it. I know Brian Callahan said Khalil Mullings, Julius Chestnut are going to get some run at some point, but it's got to be Tony Pollard. What you don't want is to be in week 8, week 9, and be having the same discussion on a Friday. Like, all right, Tony Pollard's got to really carry the load this week if this sort of trend continues with Tyjae Spears and his availability, because it's already going to be the case for the first month of the season. Tony Pollard is your guy, and you don't want to see him start to wear down later on because Tyjae can't get back on the field. But in week 1, you can't worry about November in week 1. Tony Pollard's got to play a huge role in keeping the Titans on schedule and not putting Cam Ward in bad spots.
Coach Dave McGinnis of Titans Radio. He'll be on the call with the rest of the Titans Radio crew from Mile High Stadium. He'll join us to preview the game coming up next. How is it possible that it gets worse every time we play it?
Every time I think it's live, and I whip my head around to see if he's doing it a cappella.
No, he's singing along with himself.
Baby, when you broke my heart.
Oh, that's great. It's Bert harmonizing with Bert. We need more of that.
Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Despite Robert Walsh's singing sounding like a dying cat, that music typically means that Coach Dave McGinnis is on the other side, made possible by the South's most trusted Ford dealer, Two Rivers Ford. Quality American-made Ford vehicles, award-winning customer service. Coach Dave McGinnis joins us now. Happy Friday, Mac. Happy game week.
Yeah, it's game week, Bert. I love it. Bert, that's the absolute best. And here, congratulations on your engagement. I want you to sing that song at your wedding.
I'll do it, Coach. I'll
First
do it.
dance.
I know you will, and that makes me so happy.
I can't think of anything worse to do to Cheyenne than having Robert singing Return of the Mac in the middle of his own
Serenader.
wedding.
Oh, that's perfect. Right when she's walking down the aisle towards you, just belt it out. I love it.
through his snot and his tears.
Oh, yeah. You know Bert's going to cry at his wedding.
Return of the Mac. Oh, my God.
Although it is a song about infidelity, is it not?
Yeah, we
No,
will.
she did him wrong. His girl did him wrong. So now that's why he had to return. He had to come back and show her what he's missing.
Let's not dig too deep into the meaning here. We've got Coach Mack and made possible by Two Rivers Ford, as I've mentioned. Mac, a huge test.
I'm on your side, Bert. I'm on your side.
Well, he needs allies at this point. God knows. Mac, this is a huge homework game for the young quarterback, for everybody involved, of course, especially on offense, because you know Vance Joseph is going to try and put him in a blender right from the jump. I wonder what most intrigues you about the matchup and what you're looking forward to seeing as they get ready to kick off here in just a few days.
Well, I mean, we've known this is going to be a huge test just because of the type of football team that they put together there in Denver, and especially, I mean, really on both sides of the ball. But that defensive side of the ball, anytime you have 63 sacks in a year, I mean, you're doing something. I mean, you look at if you just watch the tape and don't even know what the numbers say, you don't even have to be able to compute the numbers to know that they know what they're doing. And so that's a huge test to begin with. And you are right. Vance is going to do a whole lot of things that this young quarterback hasn't seen yet. But that's part of the initiation into the National Football League.
Well, of course, we are as interested and should be, as Titans fans I'm sure will be, in the offensive line as we are in what Cam Ward will do. Those things, of course, coincide. You've spent a great deal of time watching them in practice. I know you start your day there, Mac, if I'm not mistaken, as you make your way around the practice field, seeing all the different things that they're working on a day-by-day basis. What are you most encouraged by when you see that unit, especially given that they are going to be put to the test as well?
Just consistency. That's all you need at the offensive line. You need consistency, and you just don't need, one side being uneven from the other either. I mean, you just need it to be consistent, and then the whole offense has to work. You can't afford to get behind the chains with this defense, and so it all goes together. You can't put your offensive line into unmanageable situations, which against a 63 sack team is third down and double digit. You just don't do that. You can't do that, but the consistency is what I look for. Two areas of the football team I really look for consistency in that you want, going into any ball game. Is the offensive line and in the special teams. That's extremely, extremely important because those sides of the ball you can control a little bit the tempo of what goes on.
We will do a special teams. We'll do a lot of things with Brett Kern here in just a few minutes, but Brett Kern will focus on the special teams with us in the noon hour as well. Coach Dave McGinnis of Titans Radio here with us on 104.5 The Zone, getting you ready for the Titans at the Broncos.
So, Coach Mack, to your point about Vance Joseph, I know you've talked about it. We've talked about it all week. Not many defensive play callers in the league send more heat than Vance Joseph, but could you see him turning it up a notch even more, Coach, going up against a rookie in his NFL debut on the road?
Well, there's plenty more that do, I promise you. Just all you got to do is look at Minnesota, to begin with. I mean, it's part of what people are doing now. But, I mean, he doesn't have to turn it up a notch. He just has to stay true to what his nature is. I mean, anytime you got 63 sacks and you present as many fronts and as many coverages as he does on a normal basis, and normal is when the whistle blows and it's kicked off. So I don't look at him. I mean, there's no turning it up to him. He knows exactly what he wants to do right now. I've said this a lot of times before. I spent over 30 years in this league as a defensive coach trying to discombobulate rookie quarterbacks. That's what he'll do.
What are the challenges in facing a rookie quarterback in week one? Sean Payton talked about this earlier in the week on looking back at Cam's stuff from Miami and Brian Callahan's tendencies. But for you, what was the biggest hurdle when you were preparing for a quarterback in his first ever NFL start?
Trying to figure out how he was going to react to what happened. I mean, if you're playing veteran quarterbacks, you kind of know exactly how they're going to react and what they're going to, forfeit to, when something doesn't go well. With a rookie quarterback, you just don't know yet, and so that's why it's important, and it'll be important to him to try to find out, and it's going to be important for Cam Ward to respond on the other side, not give him any reason to start poking at him in a lot of different ways.
Coach Dave McGinnis with us, made possible by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Titans Countdown will get you going before kickoff between the Titans and the Broncos. It's a 3:05 kickoff, local time, 2:05 Mountain Time.
Coach, Bo Nix going into his second year, Jeffrey Simmons was talking about this in the locker room the other day, just his tendency to scramble, to bail from the pocket. What do you see in Bo Nix and how quickly he starts using his legs and how the Titans could go about trying to contain that?
He doesn't bail. I mean, he doesn't bail. That offense is not meant to bail. He'll work the inside. He'll work the inside of the pocket. I mean, and that's what, go all the way back to Drew Brees. You watch Drew Brees. He was a master at working that center guard triangle as far as for protection and moving up. And this guy doesn't bail, but he uses his legs. Just check his rushing numbers. I mean, the dude's an athlete and can run with it, but he's got enough weapons on the offense that he's not going to, especially after the 10th week of the season, when you really start studying what he was doing, he really, really started to settle in. I mean, this guy has, in that back part of the season, really became a very, very viable quarterback in this league. I don't really see him as bailing. He'll run, but if you give him that A and B gap up in that center guard triangle, he will take it.
Well, and safe to assume, Mac, for all the investment that they made in their rushing attack this year, with them drafting R.J. Harvey in the second round, with them bringing J.K. Dobbins over from the Chargers, they really struggled as a rushing offense last year, and I imagine that's going to be a huge point of emphasis for Sean Payton to just try and help take pressure off things so Bo Nix doesn't have to do as much that way.
That's an excellent point, Buck, and that's the truth. That's why they went out and redid the running back room, because I've defended Sean Payton's offense for a lot of years in this league, and he wants to run the football. He wants to run the football, and people think he's just all this slinging all over the field guy. He's not. He's very calculated. He's very calculated with his formations. He's very calculated with his personnel. The first 15 are really important with him to try to decipher how he's going to try to probe and prod and see what you are doing, how you react to personnel groups, how you react to formations, and the other thing is how you react to motions. But look, Sean Payton's as good as there is at setting up plays, not just calling plays. There's a difference between calling plays and setting up plays. He's one of the best I've ever gone against as far as setting them up.
Coach Mac here with us of Titans Radio. Two Rivers Ford makes all of Mac's appearances on all four shows possible. Of course, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Mac, we don't know officially if L'Jarius Sneed will be made available. He's going to speak to media today in the locker room after practice. Brian Callahan will likely give us inactives for some of these guys after practice today as well. But how big of a boost would it be for that secondary, for Denard Wilson, and how much more of the playbook he's able to operate if they can get L'Jarius Sneed out there on the field for the first time since week 6 of last year?
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, it'll help, but I mean, I don't know how much he'll play either. I mean, I'll find out when everybody else does, because I don't know right now. I really don't.
All right, Mac. Well, can't wait to get into the booth, get into Mile High. I know that's always a fun place to do a game. And I mean, week one as an atmosphere, Mac, just nothing matches NFL playoff intensity and things like that. But when all of these teams are coming into a season with fresh faces, essentially, that always seems to have a different level of juice, as close to a playoff atmosphere as I feel you can get. Would you say that's accurate as a head coach and as a former assistant?
I'd say you're 100% correct, and especially at that place. I've taken a lot of teams in there and stood on that opposite sideline, and they get gunned up for it. I promise you that. Last time we were there, it was different because there was nobody in the stands.
Yeah.
I mean, it was during COVID. That was really, really strange. This one, it's going to be like it normally is. It's going to be rolling.
I can't wait to be there. Can't wait to hang out with you and the rest of the crew in the booth. Safe travels, buddy. We'll see you up there.
All right, Mark, thanks. See you. Bert, keep singing.
Hey, love you, Mac.
Love you too, Bert. Can't love anybody any more than I love you.
Oh,
yeah!
There it is.
Oh, no.
Yes! 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 I love you too, Mac! I love you too!
I think he just peaked.
Oh, yeah. It's not getting any better for you.
Yeah.
than that.
That's a word for it. That was good stuff right there.
Yeah, change your
I
shorts.
I love that man. I love him.
Oh, he loves you back.
He said it.
He couldn't love anybody more than he loves
Hey,
you.
he said it. You guys heard it. In front of God and everybody. I'm going to clip that and send it to my mom.
Why can't you love me the way that Coach Mac loves me?
No, I'd have to send it to my dad if I was going to say that.
Why don't you ever say this to me?
My dad's been one of those dudes. Like one time in college, I was failing this class and I had to make like a really good grade to pass it. And I had been telling my dad about this on like phone calls. And I texted him and I was like, hey, I got a 96 on that exam. And my dad said, good. Thumbs up emoji. Not great job, son. Love you. Wow, you're smart. I can't believe you're the first person in our family to go to college. Just good. Thumbs up.
Yeah, every time right, Robert talks to his dad on the phone, it's like, all right, my dad, love you. Say it.
He must have went to a tunnel.
That's such a toxic male thing, though, because it feels like, I don't know, it feels like kids are always comfortable saying it to their parents, but like you got to work on your father figure sometimes on that front. I don't know. Maybe some of us have more loving and giving father figures than others.
If the Titans win on Sunday, it is Brian Callahan's best win as a head coach.
I bet his daddy would tell him I love you if he got a win on Sunday.
Well, yeah, that's because he's probably having to hold his son in his arms after he's crying after beating the Patriots last year.
All right.
I would cry after that, too.
Come on,
I would
Lucas.
cry.
Yeah, of course it's his
Make it
best win.
sound like he was sobbing
They were
at the podium.
3-14. You just said it would be his best win as a coach. Of course it would be. Of course it would be.
Thank you for saying I'm right.
What an unbelievably low bar. Yes. The next win that they get will probably be the best win that they get because they were the worst.
I mean,
I do not want to lower the bar so much for them that we pat them on the backs and say, you know what, good job. You got one, boys. You got one. You did what every other NFL team is expected to do week in and week out. You won a football game.
It would be marginally better than anything they did last year.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Like, that is a fact.
It
They went on the road and beat Houston, and they beat a bad Patriots team, and they, oh, goodness, where did the third win come from? Miami.
Why do they just keep beating Miami? No matter how bad these Titans teams are, they keep beating the Dolphins. Yes, Lucas.
So, yes, this would one up a win on the road against the division champs.
Of course it would. It is so pitiful that is the bar. I get it. Like, I get that that's what this season is, but I don't want to do, would this be Brian Callahan's best win? Of course it would be. Of course it would be. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to join the conversation. Robert, what do we have to give away for Friday Fire?
We have some Doobie Brother tickets, and you can go and be there in the crowd on September 15th.
So,
10 days from today.
615-737-1045 is the number. What you have to do to win these tickets is you have to call us. You have to give us your moment of positivity from the week. It could be a sports story. It could be personal. It could be professional.
It could be fake.
No.
Oh, these have to be real.
I draw the line at that guy that lied to us about his son's was it a track achievement, I think?
Yeah, and then he actually punched that kid or something, knocked him down out of the starting gates.
This is a white lie.
Tanya Harding.
It wasn't like a
that kid.
full-blown. It was just an adjustment to the
He
truth.
called us back to defend himself, and it's as angry as I've ever been in a call.
It was an adjustment to the truth, not a full-blown lie. It was a tweak. He Hollywoodized it. That's all.
Yeah, okay. So, Friday Fire, 615-737-1045. Why don't we give ourselves a little extra time because it's a particularly good Friday because there's football and everybody's happy about it. I'm Buck Rising. It's 1045 The Zone. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is an incredibly valuable resource for guys who are struggling with performance issues because ED can wreck your confidence. It can impact your relationship, your mental health, and even your sense of identity. That's where the Tennessee Men's Clinic comes in because whether you're dealing with mild or moderate ED, performance issues, or even conditions like Peyronie's disease, their medical team will work with you to create a plan that gets results, often with options most men didn't even know were out there. And forget waiting around. They have in-house labs, so you get your blood work results in minutes, not days. If you felt the sting of performance issues recently, ask yourself, when's the last time you've felt fully confident in your performance? You don't have to settle. Your initial appointment is only $99. It includes a full consultation, full medical consultation, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose right there in the office. Call the Tennessee Men's Clinic at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or book online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. It is impossible to not be positive on a true football Friday. College games, pro games, all over the place. Football season, it almost feels just a little bit like fall outside. We're getting closer and closer, but football is back. Your Friday Fire, your opportunity to win a pair of tickets to see the Doobie Brothers in 10 days from now if you call us and you give us your moment of positivity. 615-737-1045. Mine is not just that football is back, because that feels a bit of a cop-out, and we are all happy about it. Mine is Bill Belichick not losing his petty. This is a hilarious story after a horrendous start to the Bill Belichick tenure at North Carolina in an incredibly lopsided season-opening loss to TCU. He is banning scouts from the New England Patriots from attending practices at North Carolina. Bob Kraft is doing interviews yesterday about why Belichick doesn't have a statue with Brady's, and he's saying as soon as Coach Belichick's career is over, we look forward to building a statue of Bill right next to, what did he say, Tommy? I think he calls him Tommy, Bob Kraft. But the level of just two-facedness between the two of them, where they play nice at the Tom Brady roast, they take a shot together and all these different things, but behind the scenes, they just clearly don't like each other. And honestly, I think that makes me respect Bob Kraft so much more than I previously did, understanding that relationship probably fell out like throughout the course of their time winning as much as they did, and he was still able to maintain it, or they were still able to maintain it, because I'm sure Bill Belichick is not an easy person to work with or for. I love, though, that Bill Belichick is still so petty that he is banning Patriot scouts from North Carolina practices.
Well, the thing is, like, yes, he's banned Patriot scouts, but it's also incredibly limited towards any other scouts.
Yeah.
So I'm confused, because this whole thing from Bill Belichick about being the 33rd team and a pipeline to the NFL and limiting access to watch your players, like, it's not really, make that make sense. It's
No,
not
I can't.
computing to me.
I can't.
Yeah, and Bob Kraft doesn't need to massage this relationship to try to earn something back from Bill. Like this tug of war they're doing, it makes no sense.
These 70 new players on your roster. Oh, damn it, Robert.
What do you mean? What?
The way that you looked back at me and just bulldozed right through those
It
jokes.
went right over my head.
Tug of war made it over your head.
I don't
over my
understand
head.
what you guys are talking about. Maybe you're both blinded by my Friday
I think
Fire.
you simply need a trip down to Jupiter, Florida.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's allowed back in that shopping center. My Friday Fire happened just moments ago when Coach Mack gave me possibly the greatest compliment that anyone has ever given me. He loves me back.
I love you too, Bert. Can't love anybody more than I love you.
I am going to make that my ringtone. I am going to make it my alarm clock. When Cheyenne wakes up every morning, I want her to hear that, to give her something to aspire to. I love Coach Mack.
Why don't you love me as much as Coach Mack loves me?
There were people tweeting this weekend, like if someone spit on Lamar, like the whole city would be. I would put that file on somebody for Lamar. I would put that file on somebody for Coach Mack, and I want y'all to know that.
People still have ringtones?
I don't think my phone has rang in years. Like I have had it on silent perpetually
I
since
miss so many calls because of that.
I just don't pick up my phone.
Yes, you do.
or check your
Unless
email.
it's you two. Well, I don't. I go out of my way to not check my email. There's nothing good in my email.
Coach Mack is my Friday Fire.
My Friday Fire is Joseph Newgarden. Now, a lot of people probably don't know this, but the Music City Grand Prix happened last weekend at the Speedway.
What?
Yep. It was last weekend. There was as little
Did you know
fanfare. Not until after it happened. There was as little fanfare for this thing as I have ever seen. The crowd looked pretty good, but yeah.
Because they moved it out to BFE.
Yeah, that happened last weekend. It is unfortunate just how much the Music City Grand Prix has lost
Well, that
its juice because of the new stadium construction.
We had so much fun at that a couple of years ago.
Oh, it was routinely one of the most enjoyable events of the year. You know, I get it. It had to happen. New stadium is coming. Hopefully it returns after the new stadium construction is done. But Joseph Newgarden, the hometown kid, won the Music City Grand Prix for the first time in his career, was celebrating with the Nashville crowd. Really cool moment, my Friday Fire.
Did anybody cover that?
I don't know how you would cover in a race. Do they have like legs? You'd have to beat somebody by
No, you idiot. I mean, was there any news coverage of the Music City Grand Prix?
Yeah,
taking
there was
place?
plenty of local coverage.
Oh, yeah, there had to be.
Oh, it's just we did a bad job.
Yeah, it was us.
Okay. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. By the way, speaking of the stadium construction, were you on that email? They're giving media tours of the new Nissan Stadium because they have reached their halfway point of the
Surprised
new Nissan
you checked
Stadium.
your email.
I did. Well, that's one's worth going to. So next Tuesday at 8 a.m., I'm going to take the tour, and then we can come back and talk about it.
Oh, do you get to keep those hard hats they give you?
No. Lucas in the hard hat was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. They had to find him a special hard hat because of the size of his
because
head.
of your big noggin?
Yeah, it screams blue collar when you look at me. I get it.
I'm out there in ostrich skin boots.
Yeah, next to you, anybody looks blue collar.
I've never been to a construction. They said bring boots. I don't have other boots other than those. Anyway, let's start with Bart in Murfreesboro.
Hey guys, my Friday Fire goes out to the Miami Hurricanes and Carson Beck. Seeing a guy like Carson coming back from injury to lead the Miami Hurricanes over a victory over a super talented Notre Dame team who played for the Natty last year. It was a super cool moment for him. I'm excited about this team and what's next over the next few weeks.
I appreciate the call, Bart. Remember to stay on hold for the opportunity to win those Doobie Brothers tickets. 615-737-1045 is how you submit. We did Wet Powder Wednesday, and I said my Wet Powder moment of the week is Miami's going to win the ACC. Not just because of that game, but I don't know. I feel like I'm buying Carson Beck. I don't know how long that'll last, but he looked refreshed, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, for sure. They roll through Bethune-Cookman tomorrow, and then they get into this kind of tricky stretch where it's South Florida, who we've talked about, that could just be a bit of a pest this year. They host Florida, who will look to avenge that Week 1 blowout loss last year, and then go to Florida State, who had one of the most impressive Week 1s in all of college football. So if Miami can get through that stretch, then there is absolutely a path to them winning the ACC. Only one of those games is an ACC game, so hell, I guess they could lose to Florida and everything is still right in front of them. But Florida football is back, like in the state. Florida State, and Miami, and they all play each other this year. It's been a while since all three of those programs were in a place where they felt good about the direction of the program.
Let's let Florida State, do it for a couple more weeks before we assign any higher level of value. But certainly encouraging, right?
They should be a top 10 team after what they did
last
week. No, they're number 14 on the AP poll.
Where did Bama fall to?
Fell to 21.
How long has it been since Bama was 21? That's crazy.
I don't know what their lowest ranking was last year.
Let's say Eric in Gallatin.
Hey, good morning, guys. So can anyone tell me, for my fellow Taco Bell fans, how much a build-your-own Lux Craving Box costs? And then I'll get to this.
Oh, well, it's egregious what's happened to Taco Bell pricing in the last few years. Inflation, just nobody's safe. I'm going to say $7.25.
So you're about right on the mark. It's $7, which is the exact same price you can pay to go watch Alabama football this Saturday at Bryant-Denny.
No.
$7 gets you through the door. And if you thought that was bad, the week after that versus Wisconsin, a part of the home and home series, pretty much a big game, $19 is the cheapest ticket, and I am so loving this. The downfall of this team, the downfall of this fan base, it couldn't make me happier. I hope they go through what we've all fans went through from 2008 to 2020. I love it. I hate you, Alabama. I hope you keep falling. Go Vols.
That is such a vindictive Friday Fire, and I love it.
I mean, it actually is going to be interesting because the run...
$7 to get in.
For the home opener. The run that Alabama went on, I mean, it just had a ripple effect, right? Like the academic standard of the school went up because more people wanted to go to Alabama, and it's just the rising tide, right? The football program was the rising tide. Oh, pun was very much intended there. But it's going to be fascinating because what that also did is naturally water down the fan base, right? We've talked about this. If you walk through the Alabama student section on any given game day in 2022 and you poll 100 kids to name one Alabama head coach not named Bear Bryant or Nick Saban, I bet you 80 of them couldn't do it because they're from Jersey and California and Texas. And they go, that looks fun. I want to go there. They're winning a lot. My fiance is one of them. So
did that hurt you?
What?
that your fiance is one of them?
We've gotten over it. But now, what do they do with this? Because Nick Saban's gone. So after being so spoiled for 15 years, what's going to happen to the environment at Bryant-Denny?
God, it was never like that raucous, right? Because they were so accustomed to winning.
It got to a point where Bryant-Denny was consistently one of the best environments in the country because they were winning so much and fans wanted to be there and it was electric.
Yeah, but wasn't Nick Saban like chastising them at certain points?
He was chastising fans for leaving in the fourth quarter when they're beating like Georgia State by 50 or something. Like that's what Nick Saban was chastising people for, which I think you could forgive a student section for leaving. Nick Saban, a bit of a victim of his own success there when you're so good that your games can be so dreadfully boring that your fans are leaving. But I am genuinely curious to see what happens to the game day environment at Bryant-Denny after so many years of being so spoiled and feeling like you've peaked as a program. Because if you're a Bama fan, you're sitting around like, we will never be that good again in my lifetime. You won't. College football fan can live 20 lifetimes and not experience that.
No one will. I don't think we'll ever see another program have that kind of a run given the atmosphere, the environment of college
fanhood
football.
is being tested right now in Tuscaloosa, baby. $8 to go see your home opener.
Look at you. Nothing delights Lucas. I think Lucas is more delighted by Alabama's downfall. They used to make him take a vacation. Take a vacation when Tennessee would play Alabama. He would leave the country.
We've talked about this. They broke me. I hated Nick Saban. Now I worship him. Like a full-blown case of Stockholm Syndrome. They absolutely broke me. But this day was always coming, and it might just be here. Here's the other alternative, though. They're one of the most loaded rosters in the country, and that could be a wake-up call, and they go on a run and win the SEC. Like, that is on the table. It doesn't feel likely after last week, but I will say the signs are very encouraging.
Look at him. He is. I've not seen him smile this big at any point in the 5 years that we have been.
We get to enjoy this. The amount of misery that they brought. Credit to them. But we get to enjoy the downfall, okay? That's just what it is. That's how this works.
I'm not begrudging you. I'm just saying I don't think I've ever seen you as happy. Like you said, you likely, or you didn't cry when you and Megan got engaged, but you cried during sports results.
I cried when we beat Alabama, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, look at him smiling that hard. Those cheeks hadn't hurt like that since we had a spank train last weekend.
What is with you today?
You waited so long. You hovered over your microphone.
I was waiting that's the name of the game. You talk, he talks. You talk, he talks. I talk, you talk. You were waiting. Yes. Oh, I was being a courteous producer?
No,
yes.
You hovered over your microphone to make that specific joke.
I am always hovering over my microphone.
You just got a wild hair this week, I think.
I do.
Because his Ravens play this week and he's got nervous energy.
No, don't bring it up. I was having such a good day, dude. I haven't thought about it once.
I once scared, Robert. I once scared
I am
of Josh
scared.
Allen, Robert.
I'm terrified. Because this is going to dominate my emotions for the next 13 days. Like
615-737-1045. One more for Friday Fire. How about Allen and Mount Juliet?
Yeah, thanks, Buck. First of all, for the prior caller and Lucas, suck it. Roll Tide.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm a fan. Follow that up.
Get him, Allen.
You can't be a hater on Friday Fire. So anyway, my Friday Fire was.
You said suck it. Go ahead.
What's your I've already won. All right.
What you got?
Well, hey, mine started out with a twist. The tennis CEO who stole the little boy's cap and then he gets outed and has to do an apology and everything like that. So my Friday Fire is suck it to the Polish cement CEO as well.
Can you say suck it one more time before you go?
Suck it.
Yeah. Okay, see, it wasn't just me being gone. Now look at all the calls we're getting because
we got no time.
Tennessee and Alabama fans want to fight each other on the show. I actually, didn't we do that a couple of years ago where we pit callers against each other like Feinbaum style?
No, we've never done that. I don't know what you're talking about, but that does sound fun.
I'm down for that. If
Who
we
gets
want
the
to
tickets?
I mean, it has to be Eric, right?
Oh, I was thinking Bart.
No, for Carson Beck. I mean, thanks for the call, Bart.
He's very happy
like
the Miami one. Bart?
Yeah, it's close to
a good
Bert.
name. It is a good name.
Congratulations to Eric. Brett Kern in studio. We'll talk some ball with one of the best punters ever to do it. Coming up next.
12 o'clock, good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The NFL regular season kicked off with the Eagles beating the Cowboys at home 24-20. The game hit a 1-hour weather delay near the end of the third, but Philly held off the Cowboys in a scoreless fourth to start the season 1-0. Titans opened the season at the Broncos on Sunday. Left tackle Dan Moore Jr. returned to practice. He was a full participant. On Thursday, L'Jarius Sneed and Kevin Winston Jr. were limited. Brian Callahan will update injuries in a little bit. Ahead of Sunday, the League Company countdown to kickoff begins at noon on Sunday. Titans countdown on the air at 2. Kickoff with Taylor Zarzer and Coach Dave McGinnis is at 3:05 from Mile High Stadium. Week 1 continues tonight in Brazil. Chiefs and Chargers face off in São Paulo. We'll kick off at 7 p.m. You can hear the Westwood One call right here on The Zone. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Always love noon hour on a Friday, not just because it's the home stretch, not just because we've got an actual Titans football game to talk about, but because Brett Kern is here to carry us home, make us sound a little smarter for the final hour of the show. Missed you last week, bud. Sounds like you guys had a good time at Yazoo.
It was good.
Out there hanging out with the fans and folks. I heard you guys started a pick segment without me, which it sounds like is going to be a running bit around here on the show. And, par for the course, Brett Kern sounds like he's the only person that had any success with his picks last week.
Went 4-4, which I feel like is pretty good in the portal days. So all these guys transfer in NIL deals. You have no clue what's going on. So I figured about the same as flipping a coin.
Especially week 1, like where there's so many, I know there's week 0 and then week 1, but like week 1, there's a lot of unknowns with a lot of these teams, to your point about all the different pieces and parts that are going to be inserted. Football game last night, the Eagles able to outlast the Cowboys at Lincoln Financial. Brett, I feel like probably Titans fans may not have remembered your stint with Philadelphia.
It was quick. It was quick. 4 games at a playoff run and a loss to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
But, I mean, that environment at the Link, you've played there before, obviously, as the opposition. To have that crowd at your back has to be such a cool thing because they are insane.
Being on the visitor sidelines is an experience. They know a lot about your family and a lot of things that are mentioned. Just can't repeat on the radio. But I'll tell you what, even being on the home side, it can be the same. It could turn pretty quick. And I'm just thankful that, the game was pretty much decided pre-weather delay so that we could go to bed and didn't miss much.
Well, we've got the Brett Kern Bowl this weekend. You talk about another one of your former teams. Sure. Started your career in Denver. What do you remember about playing in Denver and Mile High Stadium? What 2 seasons before you came to Tennessee?
I did. My rookie year was up there, and then I made 6 games into my second season. That was McDaniel's first year. I got cut week 6 and then picked up off waivers by the Titans.
And the rest is history.
It is loud. It is extremely loud. It was weird playing up there during COVID because there was nobody in the stands. And it was a night game. It was really weird.
It was the second of the doubleheader on the Monday night, right?
Yeah, it was the doubleheader. We had the late game. Just really weird. Well, there really was no environment. And once again, you could hear Vrabel from probably downtown. So, but it can get really loud in that place, and especially now. I mean, when I was there, they were coming off 8-8 season. Cutler, Shanahan. There was kind of talks of it's playoffs or bust type stuff, and it was still really loud then. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like now with the expectations that the Broncos have now, which is can they dethrone the Chiefs just for the division, with the Chargers, and obviously playoffs, last year and building upon that and see how far they can go this year.
Weirder game at Denver. The COVID game that you guys won with just the unbelievable struggles by Gostkowski in that game, and then turning around, what was that, week 2 in Minnesota, and essentially winning you guys that game, if I remember correctly. Week 2 or week 3? I think
it was week 2. I don't know if we had, because we opened up then our home game against Jacksonville, and that was when I could hear Mike Keith and Coach Mack actually doing the play-by-play.
No way.
During the game.
Well, yeah, there's nobody in there.
Their window was open, and you can hear them play-by-play. And
That's
it was
insane.
It was crazy. And then week 3, we went to Minnesota. Once again, they had like 200 people in the stands.
That's
and
right.
I think Steven went like 4 for 4, over 50. It was a crazy game.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson breakout game.
Took Malcolm Butler for a ride.
That was his first big-time performance.
But my point was, weirder game, that Denver game during COVID or that 19 game where Marcus is struggling and ultimately gets pulled for Tannehill and you guys get shut out 16-0 by the Joe Flacco Broncos, speaking of weird tenures. I guess it's not really the end of his career. Flacco's still playing. Yeah. But that 19, Brett, I think that 19 Broncos game is the worst football game I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I remember having 9 punts, and 8 of them were inside the 20. I think it was to tie the NFL record for most punts inside the 20. And so that was just a struggle. But obviously to make that switch, from Marcus to Tannehill, just kind of changed the momentum of the season, and obviously coming up short against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. But that game was pretty crazy. But I'm telling you, playing an NFL game in front of nobody is very weird.
Even the home playoff game that year against the Ravens, not to relitigate COVID, but like it looked like a preseason game.
And I remember I took Bryce to the Super Bowl that year in Tampa because Suckup was playing in the Super Bowl with Tampa, and that was really weird because they had cutouts. So, Bryce and I were sitting together, and then it was like 2 random cutouts in the seat next to us on the left.
Of random people or like famous people?
No, random. Like you could pay, it was like $50 to have your, poster, your cutout in the seats. So like Bryce and I are sitting together, and then you have 2 cutouts to our left, 2 cutouts to our right. It was a weird environment. So the stadium was really only half full, but it looked like it was full because it was people and cutouts.
That's hilarious. Titans did that, and they would put like Jack White in the stands and all these musicians.
Mike Keith and Mac had a cutout. There were a couple of Preds had like Ramon and Dawn cutouts and stuff like that at Bridgestone Arena.
Got to get the celebrities in there.
Speaking of Bryce Kern, a very happy 16th birthday to young Bryce Kern. Stephen A.
Happy birthday to him.
We very much care.
Good luck
tonight against NBA. Good luck.
Big one. NBA. Got Big Red coming. Hopefully the showers stay away, so that'd be great.
Oh, please.
That would really mess up my special teams binder that I have. I just can't. I'm not prepared for rain, so I'm gonna have to laminate a bunch of stuff when I get home.
So that
waterproof it.
That Monday Night Football win is the only win of the Titans era at Mile High Stadium. Now they've only played. This will only be the 5th time that the Titans, as the Titans, will be up there. But 1-3, and Monday Night Football in front of no fans is the only win at the moment.
That's what it took. No fans.
Obviously a huge factor. If the Titans were to win on Sunday, it would be the biggest win for the franchise, the most impressive win since when?
Since when? As far as like an opener or just in general?
Just in general. The most impressive win.
Well, I think that playoff run, going up to Baltimore, the number 1 seed, and just dominating.
Just when you think about the expectations that are on the Broncos this year, the potential.
Some of those 2021 games that y'all won, though, with
98 guys on the roster.
The amount of bodies that were falling by the wayside to still win 12 games that season to get the number 1 seed. I mean, it'd probably have been since one of those in 2021 because they had no business winning so many of those games.
14, we went to Kansas City and won the opener. I know we weren't favored in that game at all. Obviously, the rest of the season wasn't great.
Yeah.
But I think to go on the road against Kansas City and beat them in Arrowhead, that's got to be up there.
I mean, I don't know the last time the Titans won a game where they were more than 8-point dogs.
It would be a huge, to your point, it would be a massive deal given what Titans fans would then assign their hope towards, right? Like, oh, we got one, right? If Cam is the primary driver, which one would expect that the quarterback would have a huge hand to play if they were able to go up as 8.5-point underdogs to Denver, which, as Brett mentioned, is one of the craziest environments in the NFL. In fact, the only time that I've seen that crowd subdued was that 19 game, because even Flack, I mean, that was a tough watch. I think Byard got him twice in that game, and they still were able to squeak out a 16-0 win. Nobody was happy about that game. Broncos fans or Titans fans.
I mean, what about that 2020? Well, it wasn't a great Packers team. I was thinking 2022 Thursday Night Football in Green Bay to make it 7-3 before that losing streak to end the season.
I just don't even think people associate that with good vibes for everything that came afterwards.
Right. But still, that was an impressive win at the time. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's the point, right? Is that a win here would be a pretty marquee moment for the franchise in a few years since the last time the Titans were legitimately a playoff team.
Yeah, I just think, obviously everybody, you guys have been talking all week, matchups and different things, when you go up to Denver and how loud it is. And there's a lot of, one-on-one matchups that are going to be tough for the Titans. Obviously in the trenches is going to be super tough with, how Denver blitzes and, leading the league last year in sacks and, all those guys that, were producing sacks. It's 16 guys with a half a sack last year.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Crazy.
And, you look at their top six and they accounted for, 49 sacks and they're all back. The Titans, you look at their top six, two of them are gone. Kenneth Murray to Dallas and obviously Harold up to New England. So how you?
Kenneth Murray had a nice game last night, by the way.
He's flying around a little bit.
Yep. But, I think the big thing too is obviously besides matchups, but you look at penalties. Last year Titans had 132 penalties, fourth in the league, and 55 of them were pre-snap. Like before the ball's even snapped, they're getting a penalty. Led the league with false starts, 29, and illegal formations with 9. And so I think the biggest thing for the Titans to even have a chance is they cannot be behind the sticks. They have to stay in the manageables, right? First down, you got to get some yards. Second down, you got to at least give yourself an option for certain plays. You're watching the Eagles game last night, and it's 2nd and 5, and I mean that playbook for Petula up in Philly opens up dramatically, right? All of a sudden, if it's 2nd and 10, you get a penalty. Now all of a sudden it's 2nd and 15, 2nd and 20. Now you're playing behind the sticks, and then that puts so much pressure on Cam because then they become one-dimensional. And against that secondary, they have a front four. When you can bring pressure with front four, and then you can send 7 back in coverage, that's going to be a really, really tough task for the Titans to overcome. So I think penalties is probably something. If they can stay out of trouble with penalties, at least that'll help them, with getting first downs and staying on task with the sticks.
As somebody who has seen a great many returners across his career, the Titans are going to be starting rookie punt returner Chimere DK, and we thought that Prochet was.
He's on the practice squad.
He's on the
understand
practice squad.
You get obviously I think DK will get this game, but you have the opportunity if something happens, you can elevate Prochet 4 different times before you have to really make a decision on him. But yes, DK, kind of getting his first crack in an NFL game.
Well, and the Broncos drafted a punter this year. Was it Jeremy Crenshaw?
Jeremy Crenshaw, 6th round, which is another thing. I don't know if you want to talk about special team stuff yet, but just, that's another battle. You have Bones versus Rizzi. If you remember, 2023, Saints block a punt, Zach Bond, which is crazy how he started out in special teams, and now he's, one of the highest paid linebackers in the league, stud. He blocks a punt, and who's the special teams coordinator? Rizzi. And he's probably one of the most exotic punt rush kind of guys. Like, normally you have a 4x4, your 4s are kind of over the snapper and you count out, your 1s are the outside guys. And you can do different scheme rushes, 4x4, 5x3. You make it hard on the center, pushing down on him and kind of making the PP kind of choose who he has to block, who's the most dangerous. But Rizzi will go 6x2, and he'll just overload the right side and make that rush extremely difficult to block because now your guard on the left side has to come across with the snapper to help pick up man for man. So he's very creative. Marvin Mims is, led the league last year in punt returns, 15.7, which was first. And, the Titans were bottom of the league, averaging 7.4. So special teams, we talked about hitting yards before. It's going to be crucial, especially up there. But, Bones, we've talked about before, like you have, your preseason kind of punt team and all that kind of stuff, right? And then, what has changed for Denver? Do they have some guys that are now playing on punt team that Bones knows that he can go against and really rush this rookie punter? Because I remember my first game ever was in Denver And juices are flowing and you're nervous. And so, if Bones can bring some pressure, on this rookie punter, kind of see what happens.
Brett Kern hanging out in studio with us. We can talk more Titans and Broncos coming up next. We'll also do some game picks. Phone calls too, 615-737-1045. I'm Buck Rising. It's 1045 The Zone. DraftKings Sportsbook is your place to get in on all the action because week 1 has already started and every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. It just isn't football. It's first touchdown fireworks, anytime touchdown rushes, and live bets that ride every momentum shift. At DraftKings, every play is your next shot to win. You can get in on the action tonight, as a matter of fact, because we do have Friday night football in the NFL in Lucas's country of Brazil between the Chiefs and the Chargers. Right now, there is a 50% profit boost available for you to claim at DraftKings Sportsbook for a 3+ leg same-game parlay on tonight's NFL game. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, grab over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season starts now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THEZONE. That's code THEZONE, one word, to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet of $5 or more, plus over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789. 21 plus, Tennessee only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only. Auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Tickets/terms. Limited time offer. That's a weird song to come back to. I know.
I just picked the one.
I know. It's okay, buddy. I know you're stressed. Welcome back to this show.
Who puts this in the system?
Yeah, this song is in here by I'm pretty sure you asked Jackson to put this song in, so this is on you.
What's the other terrible song that's in here that's like...
There's another like pop country one that I heard
my God.
like
How do I
driving into. It's
delete
just
this?
garbage.
Oh, yeah,
You
you
might wake up to this alarm tone.
It's lovely. It's very soothing.
Soft wake up music.
Well, Brett Kern also very soothing, hanging out here with us.
It's a dolly into what's Bebe Resha?
BB Rexia.
Resha?
Rexa. Yeah. It's gonna
Play
be all
something better, Alexa.
Get away from the mic.
Right,
Shadows,
no
right now. Take your ass to the shadows right now.
We got better music down here.
That was a half-ass Shadows, but I appreciate you.
Yeah, while you're there, get rid of the, what's the terrible country artist, that song?
There's one of them in there. I can't remember.
I'll find it. We'll bump back to it next segment.
It's so bad.
It's probably something about, truck beds or something like that.
Something Kane. It's like the...
Kane Brown?
Kane, that one. Yeah.
That guy?
Kane Brown song.
That guy.
Sorry, Kane Brown, if you're listening.
You never know. I hate you. I'm sorry, but I hate you.
Shall we pick some games?
Yeah, let's do it.
We've got a 5-5 NFL and college football. Let's start with college football because it's a sneaky good slate, Brett. It doesn't have the splashy top 3 matchups of last week, but we're talking about season-defining matchups here because last year, Ole Miss Kentucky, while probably overlooked by most, was very much a season-defining game for Ole Miss. It kept them out of the playoff. They looked to avenge that loss on the road at Kroger Field, where your Toledo Rockets put up a fight last week.
They did, against a very Kentucky team.
Is the perfect way to put
very
it.
slow-paced.
Sluggish.
Slow-paced.
Ole Miss with Austin Simmons at quarterback. A lot of excitement around him going into a Kentucky team that looks sluggish, to put it kindly, as 8.5-point favorites. What do we think? Ole Miss minus 8.5 at Kentucky. Brett?
I like Ole Miss to avenge last year. I was reading about Lane Kiffin just struggling, sleeping after that game, and how it just kind of just wasn't good for him. So I know they're looking for revenge, and obviously seeing Kentucky last week, Calzada threw for 85, had a pick. Dowdell rushed for 129, but only had 79 yards on a touchdown run, literally right in front of me, which is not great. But yeah, they just looked very slow paced. I just like Ole Miss.
Yeah, I would have to think that, especially the way that Lane Lane is, used to dealing with public scrutiny, so I'm sure it's not that deep, but like he was so publicly talking about things like playing in the SEC championship game being detrimental to teams in the college football playoff hunt, and then he loses to Kentucky, and it's just eating at him, like Brett says. The defense is something that I think is probably going to carry the day as much as anything. I think they're just going to suffocate Kentucky. I'd take Ole Miss minus the 8.5 as well.
I agree. I think we're all on the same page. They're going to come in ready to play. Arizona State, they're kind of these Big 12 darlings, right? They were that close to knocking off Texas in the playoff last year. They lose Cam Scatterby this season, but they bring back Sam Levitt. He was fantastic last week. They are 2-0. They've already played 2 games, the Sun Devils. They are 1-0. Excuse me. I just lied to everybody. Last season, Arizona State hosted.
What did you say? What did you accuse that caller of earlier? Altering the truth?
Yes, I tweaked the truth.
Tweaking the truth?
That's cap, as they say.
Just a mistake. It's okay.
Arizona State hosted Mississippi State last season.
Thank you, Brett. That was very gentle.
That dreadful Mississippi State team, but they played ASU close in that game because they had Blake Shapen at quarterback, who ended up getting hurt, missing the season, and Mississippi State bottomed out. That was a 30-23 final last year. Last year's not this year, but this game is in Starkville with the Cowbells. Did you guys ever play at an SEC opponent when you were at Toledo? You never got to check.
No, we were Big Ten.
Okay,
played Minnesota. We actually played Kansas at Kansas, and then at Minnesota.
Your Rockets waxed Mississippi State last year.
We did. We were there. We saw it live and in person.
Destroyed them.
It was great.
Toledo did better against State than Arizona State did at home.
Yeah.
Again, that was with Blake Shapen at quarterback. Shapen back healthy for Mississippi State this year. He was good last week against Southern Miss. They host Arizona State, a top 12 team who are 6.5-point favorites in Starkville. What do we think?
Arizona State had 297 yards from the Cam Scatterby last year. But last week they had 12 penalties against Northern Arizona, which is not ideal. They're 1-6 first SEC all time. And Mississippi State in a game, I think last week people were talking about, Southern Miss being able to take care of them and beat them, and Mississippi State went down there, took care of business. Starkville, Cowbells, opener for them. I like Mississippi State to cover and win.
Ooh.
Straight up, he says, on the money line.
What does Mark Mariani say? We don't want them. Talk about the points.
blood in the water, all that kind of
Blood in the water, Mariani. Cracks me up. I'm not going to be so bold as to take Mississippi State money line, but I'll take them plus the 6.5.
I agree. I think they cover. I'll ride with you, Brett. I think Mississippi State wins this game. I do really like Arizona
Why not?
State.
We don't have anything on the line. It's not like we decided the three of us
just
to
pride.
It's just pride.
And there's no pride on this show anyway.
I have nothing to lose.
Well, there is
so
pride, but there's no competency.
Sam Levitt is fun, though. That dude's fun to watch. Okay, Illinois, minus 2.5 at Duke. Duke went out and spent a bunch of money on Darian Mensah, the Tulane quarterback. I feel like these are the kind of games that you expect your quarterback to keep you competitive in against an Illinois team that's kind of the sleeper for the Big Ten.
Duke also gave up 163 yards to Ilion last week. Which is not great. And Illinois has 3 backs that they rotate that can pound the rock. I like Illinois to cover and win.
Agreed. I just think they're going to beat him into submission. I hate to, just tail Brett's picks here, but I think the logic is too much on the side of Illinois. Like, Illinois should not be a sleeper to anybody this year, right?
No, they're a good football team.
They're just a genuinely good physical football team, and that, I think, is not what Duke is equipped to handle right now.
Yes, no doubt. Kansas at Mizzou, the border war.
121st meeting.
Yeah, man. That's crazy.
A lot of games.
That's a lot of games.
Kansas 21st?
Yes.
121st.
That's the thing.
Border war.
Conference realignment took this from us, but we've got it back. Love that they're scheduling home
It's
and
in
homes.
Columbia, right? They're not doing it at Arrowhead?
Correct. It's in Columbia. And
no, they're too busy playing Cincinnati against whoever at Arrowhead.
Nebraska. Yeah. So Travis Kelce school against the Pat Mahomes mini-me, that is Dylan Raiola.
Which, by the way, I mean, he's a college kid, so I don't want to be too hard on him, but like...
Hey, he's a millionaire. We talked about this with Nico last week.
Stop acting like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
you are cosplaying as Patrick Mahomes, you weirdo. Stop ignoring like it.
With every passing week, he's just got a new thing that is emulating Patrick. I don't know what you're talking about. Kansas plus 6.5 at Missouri.
Weird.
I tell you what, they both got ready for this game last week. Missouri beat Central Arkansas 61-6.
Sorry,
and Kansas played Wagner. And they beat him 46-7. I don't know. I mean, a part of me obviously wants to go Missouri just because I almost went there. And, one of my best friends, Bo Brinkley, is a Missouri alum. So
Titans legend.
Yeah, I just think
Titans legend.
Yes.
Yeah, I think in Columbia, I think Missouri takes care of business. Obviously, they had some quarterback competitions, but with Horn, getting hurt, that was pretty nasty.
It is that on his first snap of the season.
And I like Hardy in the run game for Missouri, big time playmaker. So I think Missouri wins it.
Bo Pribula in Missouri. I agree. I think they win, but don't cover. I think it's a close game.
Yeah, I'm going to take Kansas to cover, but Missouri should win that game. So Kansas plus the 6.5 for me.
That's 5 college games. Week 1 of the NFL. We start with Steelers at Jets. Pittsburgh, 2.5-point favorites at MetLife Stadium. The Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers game.
When's
all
the last time that's happened? Where quarterbacks flip.
Oh, man. And play each other week 1.
I mean, you see that in preseason. Like, I remember, when we played Seattle, we just got Hasselbeck, and then we drafted Jake Locker. And preseason. Or, Geno and Pat, Pete Carroll going up to Seattle to play. Like, that usually happens in the preseason. But for it to happen in an opener, no less.
And literally a swap.
Literally a swap.
And the NFL schedule makers were praying that Aaron Rodgers finally signed with Pittsburgh because they had this on the docket, assuming that he would, and it took, of course, way too long.
I think Justin Fields has an issue with holding onto the ball too long. I think that defense is stout. Darius Slay in there. They got Ramsey, obviously with Watt, TJ getting a new deal, restructured. Queen at linebacker. They're a stout defense, and I'd be curious to see too, kind of what Art does. With getting Jonnu now and Freiermuth using tight ends, he did so well with Delaney, and so how he'll use those two, and obviously Aaron Rodgers with DK, just kind of seeing if they can connect early in the season. But the point total is 38. That is bad,
disgusting.
So I think it's just going to be a big old defensive pillow fight, and but I like the Steelers to cover and win.
I'm going to take the Jets. I shouldn't. But he's an old man behind a middling to below average offensive line. And I hear you on Art, but like, is he going to listen to Art? That's
a great question.
Is he going to run his offense? Is he going to go along with the play caller? Because famously, you don't bring in Aaron Rodgers for Aaron Rodgers to run your offense. He runs his offense.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. I think Aaron Rodgers' offense can beat the Jets.
But not the Jets' defense, Lucas. Like, I know they fell off after they fired Saleh, but
it's a good defense.
And Sauce Gardner has not had a good last couple of years, even though they paid him. I don't know. Everybody in the world is going to be looking at Aaron Rodgers to, like, go out there and be Aaron Rodgers. But, again, he's an old man. He hasn't been Aaron Rodgers for 3 years.
Well, that's the thing, though. People are looking at this as Aaron Rodgers versus Justin Fields. I'm choosing to look at it as Mike Tomlin versus first-time head coach Aaron Glenn.
Yep.
And I'm going to go with Mike Tomlin.
I think it's a defensive matchup, and I think Pittsburgh can handle Justin Fields better. And I like Pittsburgh's defense. That group's been together for a while. And just like Pittsburgh, you go up there, you got the towels, and it's just like you know what defense you're playing against. And it's just, they're just consistently tough on defense. And I just think they can take care of business.
I should know better than to do this, but Jets plus 2.5.
Robert predicted the Jets to be the worst team in the league this year. I think that starts in week 1. I think I'm with Brett on this one.
All right, Robert. Okay.
Yeah.
You ready? We're going to pick your Ravens game.
All right, my fingers are my ears.
1.5-point favorites at the Bills, where the season ended last year.
Mm-hmm.
Last time the Ravens played was in Buffalo. First time they play in 2025 in Buffalo as favorites.
How about the last 2 meetings? Josh Allen has a total of 348 yards. That's it.
It's crazy how, like, when you go back and look at his passing in that last game, like, that just it didn't seem to be a thing where they were able to go out and win. The Ravens beat themselves at the end.
Well, neither offense was terribly clean. It was also a snow game and all of that.
No, both defenses are stout. Buffalo has a front seven that is very good, and they rotate bodies a lot. Their secondary,
McDermott's so good too.
Yeah, their secondary is probably their weak point. So, can Lamar, excel in the pass game to the point where Buffalo has to, kind of play that a little bit more so that, now Derek can do Derek things. And so I actually like, opening up in Buffalo, Sunday night. Buffalo is a very hard place to play. And I actually like Buffalo to, I think they're just going to win it outright.
Ravens money line.
So do the Ravens cover?
Yes.
1.5 point spread.
Yeah.
Some interesting wrinkles with this. Notable players for both teams that aren't the high-profile guys you would notice. Pat Ricard has not practiced all week. In fact, he has not practiced since August 14th for the Ravens. That will be stout. They do have a converted an Army offensive lineman, Lucas Scott, who will probably be promoted if Ricard can't go. On Buffalo's side, their kicker, Tyler Bass, was limited on Wednesday, did not practice on Thursday. They added former Denver Broncos kicker Matt Prater, who notably has a leg, elder statesman, but still a fine kicker. They added him to his practice squad. You could imagine he would be elevated in absence of Tyler Bass. Another interesting portion of the Bills side, Tre'Davious White, their former long-term corner who left in the offseason, went to the Rams, played for the Ravens last year, re-signed this offseason. He has not practiced all week either. He was slated to be a starter opposite Christian Benford, who was also limited on Wednesday. Take a look at the Bills' secondary. I do think this is going to be a big running game for the Bills. I think you see a lot of Alec Anderson, who is their swing tackle, their 6th offensive lineman. I would not bet Josh Allen's over on yards. At least I wouldn't do that before the game. I would do that live if it turns out to be a different swing, but I have no idea.
It's okay. I know you're scared. Josh Allen's scary.
So
Josh Allen is scary.
But if they're going to win, they have got to start now. They have to start early because the Ravens' schedule is a murder's row the first 6 weeks. Bills, Browns is a cupcake in week 2. Then it is Chiefs, Texans, Rams, Lions, all kind of great teams. Bears, oh my!
I've got the Ravens.
Are you just saying that because I'm here, buddy? I can leave.
They're literally my Super Bowl pick.
We all 3 picked them to win the Super Bowl this year. Nobody is doubting you or protecting your feelings.
It's nothing about, it would be more about protecting my feelings. And you know what?
I do protect Robert's feelings.
I do not.
I am coming into this, I'm going to be a married man. I'm a grown-up. I can't let other men who don't even know who I am affect my emotional status.
Wow.
So this year, I'm going to try not to live and die on every single play and just enjoy it, enjoy the moment, enjoy the fact that I have a franchise quarterback. You get to see Lamar in his prime. Just enjoy this season for what it is, because expectations are the thief of joy. If they don't win the Super Bowl, so be it.
He's going to come in here in shambles on Monday.
I will not come in here
in shambles. I will not. He just won't show up to work.
I will be taking a long bath.
Shut up now so we can finish these picks.
No problem.
Matt Prater still doing it, man. That dude was bailing out Tim Tebow when he was playing for the Broncos. Still around.
That was when I was in Denver. He was the kicker my rookie year.
Yeah,
and he has I think he's 39.
Didn't he break a record against 40? The Titans? I think he broke
longest field goal.
Longest field goal.
Yes, that happened against the Titans, if I remember.
That was a cold game too. It was in the teens.
Yeah.
He hit a 64.
Was that here? Yeah.
No. It was in Denver.
It was in Denver.
Yeah. Okay. 64, I think. Yeah, I think
it's the only way he could do it.
Shut up.
Texans plus 3.5 at the Rams. Got to go quickly here before we get to the Titans. What do we think?
Matt Stafford and his back. Mm-hmm. That is the huge question
against that pass rush.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see not excited, obviously, the Texans, but just in general, Higgins, Noel, new, rookie wide receivers out of Iowa State, along with Nico, just to kind of see what that looks like for C.J. Stroud. And then Nick Caley, new OC for the Texans, who was the pass game coordinator for the L.A. Rams last year. So, I just a 37-year-old quarterback, Matt Stafford. I've gotten epidural shots for my back. It is not fun, and so I think the Texans. I'll definitely take that 3.5, and I think they win it.
I'm fading the Texans this year. I just don't trust them. I don't trust that offensive line. Rams minus 3.5.
I'm going to go Texans to win at SoFi Stadium. Lions plus 1.5 at the Packers. Breaking in Micah Parsons against the Lions, replacing both coordinators, replacing Frank Ragnow up front. Different look for Detroit as the Packers look to be poised for a Super Bowl run.
Yeah, no Ben Johnson. I'm curious to see what that looks like. A lot of the same guys are still there in Detroit, which is great. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this offense is going to look like. Are they going to rely more on Jahmyr Gibbs, running the ball, which would be a different look. But I just think, at Lambeau, opening week, Micah Parsons, Love, Golden. I'd love to see that connection. Rookie out of Texas, see if they can get going early. But I like the Packers.
When is Jordan Love going to become the thing that people keep trying to manifest him into? It feels like people are trying.
I know.
And he's not like a bad player or anything like that, but I don't know. I feel like I'm one of them. I have felt like Jordan Love should be at some point better than he actually is, and I don't put that on Love or LaFleur or anybody like that. I just think, and they have some inconsistencies with that young skill group. It's still I think it's still the youngest roster in football.
Could be, yeah.
And those guys have been together for a couple of years now, so I'm with Brett. Packers plus 1.5.
Yeah, I'm with that too. All right, Titans 8.5-point dogs at the Broncos. Titans have been sneaky good on the road in Week 1. In their last 8 Week 1 road openers, they've won 5. So looking to go 6-9.
Nice.
Broncos, with Bo Nix and all the confidence that Sean Payton has exuded in his quarterback and his football team all offseason. By the way, Teron Davenport, reading from his Twitter, that the Titans did have Dan Moore Jr., Kevin Winston Jr., and L'Jarius Sneed at practice today. Brian Callahan will speak in a few minutes to potentially update. Let us know if anybody will be ruled out for Sunday. Titans plus 8.5. What do we think?
That's a huge line.
Huge.
I think the Titans can cover. I do. I just think, I don't know. I've seen so many wacky Week 1 games, offense. I mean, preseason, games where offenses aren't, playing their starters and all that kind of stuff. So really, this is the first week where truly you get to see what an offense looks like, and a defense looks like. And it's just opening week, crazy things happen. Finding rhythm to, offense sustaining drives. But, like I said, if the Titans can stay in the manageables on their downs and not get penalized, limit the turnovers, win that hitting yardage, I think I don't know if they can win. I think it could be close, but I definitely think they can cover.
I think they're gonna get shelled. I'm gonna take the Broncos minus 8.5. I think there's going to be turnovers. I think there's going to be miscues. It's week one for a rookie quarterback in one of the most hostile atmospheres in the NFL. And I'm not saying that it's an indictment of them that they would lose big theoretically to a team that's clearly and obviously better than them. And it's not like I don't think that the Broncos have anybody that's a world beater on offense. Like I'm not terrified of the skill position. How many receivers would you name in the AFC West before you got to a Broncos player? There's a lot.
Before you got to Cortland Sutton, basically.
Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
But I mean, Evan Ingram at tight end, he can be, that's a tough cover.
I think there's too many things here for them to have to overcome, and it would be really cool to see them do the thing that nobody thinks that they're going to do, but I think they get waxed.
Robert, do you have a thought?
Nope.
Nope.
I'm going to say Titans win. How about that?
There it is.
Titans win 28-24.
Would you rather play this defense now, or would you rather play them week 10, week 11?
I think I would rather play them week 10 or week 11 because at that point you're just talking about attrition. Are you talking about the Broncos?
Just the Broncos defense, that kind of defense. Because, I mean, I look at it like, okay, it's week one. I guess you can kind of get out of the way, but then can the Broncos and their defense expose some weaknesses in the Titans early on? But then you also look at, too, like, do other teams have what the Broncos have on defense to be able to execute that kind of game plan?
They were number one by a mile against the run last year. So not only are they teeing off on quarterbacks, but they're making you one-dimensional out of the gate. And I like Tony Pollard, but it's Tony and it's Calvin Ridley. And I just don't know that that's enough to overcome what you have to keep pace, because it's not even just the offense against the Broncos defense that I would be worried about. I don't know anything about this Titans defense being capable of getting stops. Sean Payton could eat them for lunch. So I'll take the Broncos to cover.
Brett, thanks for hanging out, man.
Always fun.
Good
Can't wait till Monday.
Brian Callahan has updated some injury statuses for Sunday.
We will give you those coming up next. All right, last segment of the day before the Titans play a football game. We have injury updates ahead of Broncos hosting the Titans. Brett Kern thinks they can cover, if not win. I think they're going to get shellacked. Lucas, you're taking them to cover?
I think keep it close.
Keep it close.
Dan Moore Jr. will play on Sunday, according to Brian Callahan. Kevin Winston Jr. will be listed as doubtful, while Snead and Khalil Mullings will be questionable.
Okay.
The Mullings thing coming in a little late, right? We did not have Khalil Mullings on the injury report.
He was not on the injury report Wednesday or yesterday, so that is a new development.
So that almost guarantees
Yes.
that one of the practice squad running backs will be elevated in his place.
Which makes the math interesting because now you have Kaiser White as a stopgap if Cedric Gray, for example, is, not quite up to the task. You have Corey Levin, but I guess if there's no injury designate, I just don't think you can I don't think you can have a situation where, God forbid, something happened to Lloyd Cushenberry and Corey Levin is not up on the game day roster. So I think that Kaiser White and Levin almost have to be up, and you only get 2 practice squad elevations.
And then you worry about Prochet. What happens with if DK takes the first kickoff return or punt return, fumbles, gets hurt? Like there is a tough question where usually it's like practice squad, okay, we need this. It will be tough elevating someone or figuring out who you're not going to elevate.
Cushenberry will be a captain, too.
Yeah,
It's his former team.
Because they need damn 7 captains already, so why not add an 8th? But whatever. All right, really quickly, I'm not going to make everybody do it, but just how I'm feeling about the Titans season. Season predictions for the Tennessee Titans, I think they finish 5-12. I feel like that's still under on their win total. Their Vegas win total is 5.5 right now, and for Cam Ward, my expectation is 32-50 as far as his passing yards go. I think I'm going to give him 21 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. And I think that they are going to find ways to improve as a football team, even if they lose close games, because they are not a talented enough roster to get over the hump against better quality opponents right now. I don't think that's unreasonable. I don't think that's unfair. I feel like 5-12 is just about like, if they exceed that, gravy. But 5-12 feels about right for what they are right now. I know people are excited about Cam Ward, and there's nothing wrong with being hopeful and optimistic about the things that you have in place. And like I said, they are welcome to exceed it. But I just think baseline expectation for me, 5-12 feels about right. Polls? Yeah.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, what's the most positive story you've seen in sports this week? Nick says Alec Ayemaner being named a starter. Mite Titan says the internet being in agreement about Jalen Carter being ejected. Det says the Cowboys not stopping the run.
Did you see Ayemaner's answer about being a starter?
No.
He's just like, I don't really think about it. They're going to play dudes all over the place. It's just a word. And I think that's the proper context.
That's a good answer. He is going to have to step up, though. They need him this week.
Yes, absolutely.
Which non-Titans NFL game are you most excited for this weekend? Ryan says, can it get better than Ravens-Bills? Everybody is saying Ravens-Bills.
I think that's my favorite, too.
Yep. By the way, how about Amari Cooper retiring?
They said he looked really unimpressive in workouts in the early going, and I guess, if you're just not in it, then if you've thought about retiring in the NFL, you're retired.
Yeah, but he signed that one-year deal with the Raiders a week ago. So
it's also a tough time to decide at the end of preseason after they've already had camp with a bunch of other dudes. So then to sign him, they had to cut someone else who could hypothetically play in the preseason.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, okay, we added him to our 53, and he's like, I don't want to do it anymore. Have Justin Shorter off the practice squad. Like, thanks for taking one of our, spots, dude.
But, Lucas, if somebody offered you a couple $1 million to come back for one more season, you would probably say yes and then realize, I don't really want to do this anymore.
Apparently, he had been in the discussion since April. They had been going back and forth about adding him since after the draft, and he had 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Do you care that Dak spit first? 68% say no, they don't.
I mean, don't spit on people. I think it's a good, generally guiding principle. Don't spit on people.
Those are the polls.
Very good. That's the show. Enjoy your football weekend, whether it's Tennessee and ETSU, Vandy, Titans, whatever it is that you're invested in. I hope you have a great time consuming all of it. We'll have the Lee Company countdown to kickoff from Denver. I'll see you there.